Classic. Did you just like pick this randomly? It was just like the first song on the list, or
No, I just kind of picked it by random because there's so many tracks. But when I heard it, I thought it felt good.
you just clicked on it? It was like, this sounds like. Actually, you just clicked on it, saw the name, and it was like, this. Cool.
Kind of goes. Kind of goes.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome Ludens to episode 6 of the Ludens Query podcast. We are back with the usual guys. MojoCritical, aka Moses. We got the HybridGeek, aka Timo, and BaconBeercan, aka Ricky. How you guys doing? This is a podcast. We gotta put some audio into it.
It's been a long week. It's been a long, disappointing week. You can't blame me for being a little low energy.
That is correct. I feel I share the same sentiment. We are talking about E3. E3.
It's okay. Once we get into
E3
it,
yesterday,
then I'll get into it.
It is now June. I was about to say January, June 16th, and it ended
Feels like January
on yesterday, Tuesday. And man, overall, to me, it was mediocre. Mediocre, to put it gently.
Felt like it never happened.
Wow.
What E3?
Pretty disappointing overall, I'd say. A lot of really low points, barely any high points to it. And just for me personally, it was disappointing. I don't know what, I kind of went in with low expectations, and I ended up still disappointed.
Wow.
I had no expectations going in. Because I knew, in the last few years, E3 has been trash, right? Ever since Sony left, Nintendo left, what did they have left? They have Xbox, Bethesda, Ubisoft, EA, and just a bunch of trash left there, right?
Nintendo was still there, but
Nintendo was kind of there, but Nintendo is not really committed to it. They know they have their own event, so they're gonna save all their megatons for their own event.
Yeah.
So I know going in.
Interestingly, Nintendo had one of the better showcases.
Yeah, I would say they have one of the better ones. So should we kind of quickly recap what happened? Just so we can get into the groove of things, starting with last Friday, I believe, or Thursday.
Sure. We'll start with everything that happened daily. Actually, let's start with something that didn't even happen on E3, because we're going in,
this whole last week, right?
That occurred during the announcements, these big announcements. The best thing about E3 was something that happened not at E3.
Outside of E3.
The Summer Game Fest, hosted by Jeff Keighley himself.
Thank you, Jeff Keighley. Thank you.
Oh my god. Just
even then, outside of those two announcements, that whole event was quite a snore fest too, man. I was watching most of it.
Honestly, I don't even remember what the other games were. I just remember 2 games out of that whole announcement.
Yeah, I was dozing off towards the end. I was about to fall asleep, and then I heard them say something we have something everyone is looking forward to. Then I just kind of all right, let me go check it out.
Jeff Keighley was getting a little bit high. He was like, it's finally happening. Here it is.
That's kind of what woke me up, because I was legit falling asleep. I was about to just doze off and say, all right, enough of this. I'm gonna take a nap.
Yeah. Well, on Thursday, June 10th, 2021, we had the Summer Game Fest kickoff with Jeff Keighley. And
what did we see there?
Yeah.
What did we see there?
Within
I don't
the
remember.
first couple of games, he introduced a creator that he's close friends with, I know, and he introduced him, and immediately he was hyping it up, and then I was like, who's this person? And he was saying things like, oh, and it's 3 a.m. over there, when over here it was like when did it happen? Like 1 p.m., 12 p.m. or something like that.
Is it, or is it in
Uh,
the afternoon? I forgot. I forgot.
sometime in the afternoon. But I was like, Japan. Who's he talking about? And then I saw the glorious man's face himself,
The man,
Kojima,
the man himself, the man himself.
the the legendary Hideo Kojima. And I'm like, oh my god, I was so hyped.
I was excited.
I have a reaction video to it, and like I almost blew out my microphone because of the level of hype that I had when I saw Kojima, and I was just things were going through my head. Did not know what he was gonna announce.
You were ready to get on your knees, eh? When you see him.
My mind was blown. I did not expect such heavy, like big impact news so soon in Summer
Well,
Game
it's
Fest
Jeff
kickoff.
Keighley, so he has to invite Kojima, like onto the show,
Yeah.
regardless of
That's
whether
true.
he has something to announce or not. He has to get him on there.
Yeah. And then they had a short interview, and then leading into a teaser trailer. And what did we see? We saw some nonsense. We saw some Kojima nonsense,
It was
and it
not, yeah.
was amazing.
The only person
Like,
in the whole gaming industry who can get away with this nonsense, this bullshit, basically.
yeah,
Anyone else put this shit, like they would have gotten like mad like flack for it. Like
yeah.
I can imagine Twitter would have like blew him up,
They would have
saying
got
like, "What is this guy doing? Is he out of your
ratioed
mind?"
into oblivion.
Yeah, he would get canceled. But
Yeah,
nope, not
basically
Kojima.
the trailer was just a whole bunch of fan service to Kojima fans, with the box and the air duct and a lot of subtle things in the trailer with the music cues. It was classic Metal Gear Solid sneaking around espionage background music, and then it will get led into when it was going to the title screen. Classic Death Stranding vibes. It was awesome. And then snooze fest until the end of Summer Game Fest. There's probably a bunch of games that were interesting, but honestly, the you know, two high impact things that happened were Death Stranding, Director's Cut, and of course, it finally happened.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Elden Ring and a release date.
And really, yeah, that's very important too. A release date. We have a release date. Although I'm not counting on it. I'm not counting on it because with the whole COVID, the whole COVID thing, and then considering especially when
I don't know.
Japan.
I put my money on it releasing on time. I'm gonna put
Well, the
my,
thing
my
is,
money on that.
for us, and we're in Canada, so for North America, we are in decent shape, right? People are getting their vaccine and stuff, but Japan, funny enough, they are falling behind when it comes to that.
Oh, really?
They are falling behind. They are really falling behind. So they're like a few months behind us. So that's why, like when we got hit hard, they were okay. But now that we're starting to recover, now they're getting hit hard. And because their government hasn't really put much plan into getting vaccines and stuff, so they're falling pretty far behind.
I see.
So that's why I wouldn't count on a Japanese game being released on time.
I don't know. I think because it was given a release date so soon from its announcement, I feel like they would have planned for it to be ready within a couple months after the announcement, for it to be shipped on the release date that they
Hopefully.
announced. So I think,
Yeah, like I want to be wrong.
they're smart enough to plan something like that. Has there ever been a delayed From Software game? I don't think so. At least I don't know.
I can't remember. The Bloodborne. I have a feeling Bloodborne got delayed.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I don't think any of the From Software games got delayed. So I have my money on it releasing on time. But going back to Death Stranding, the best thing out of that was the fact that it was captured or rendered on the PS5. So it's definitely going to be a PS5 release. And the most hype thing about that is that we're getting Death Stranding experienced on the DualSense. And that is like the most amazing thing.
Haptic feedback. Hopefully, well, I'm sure Kojima will deliver, give us a good, really good haptic feedback experience.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit of a tangent. Like we're both playing Ratchet and Clank right now,
Hmm.
and I was actually expecting a bit more from the haptic feedback. It's good, it's still good,
Mm.
but I was expecting more, like at least on a similar level as Astro Playroom. But it's
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would say
yeah.
it's nowhere near that level.
Astro's Playroom has definitely spoiled me in terms of
Yeah,
what the DualSense can do, and then every game
yeah.
afterwards is basically being compared to that experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just
So
feels like
in
it's a
terms of
little
that,
bit
like
more.
Ratchet and Clank,
It's more of a dull sensation compared to what
yeah,
Astro's
it's not
Playroom
as like
provides.
it's not to its full potential, especially considering it's a PS5 exclusive, and I believe the same
Hmm.
dev they're the ones who kind of designed the haptic feedback or something like that. I forgot. Or
Hmm.
at least they're heavily involved in that,
Well, my
right?
thought
So
on it
I
is that my thought on it is that I think putting in haptic feedback, it might be more work than we think it is, because you have to find out the different terrains of the level, and set terrain to feel different sensations on the haptic feedback and do different coding on the DualSense itself. So it might be a lot more work than we think it is, especially for
well
a
I
long game like Ratchet and Clank, or any PlayStation 5
well at
exclusive,
least they can
because
add a few more, right? Like at the very least, there's a few areas where it was raining.
yeah.
So that was when I first noticed. I was like, there's no haptic feedback for raining.
Ah,
That was present in
okay,
Astro.
okay.
So there's a few things. They could have added a few more
Hmm.
things and it will give us a much more immersive
Yeah,
experience. I'm not asking for like a complete like at exactly same level as Astro Playroom,
yeah,
but at least like I was expecting 70-80% of that effort.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Since
Well,
this
anyway,
is a
this is not a DualSense episode. This is an E3 episode, so we're gonna move on.
damn
We'll
it,
get the
damn it,
ball
damn
rolling.
you. Okay, all right,
Well,
fine,
this is
fine, fine.
we'll talk about that another time. That's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to bring up that Death Stranding with DualSense is gonna be amazing. That's it.
Well, potentially,
Well, just with
after
the adaptive
seeing,
triggers. Okay, we're not talking about it anymore.
all right, okay.
We're gonna move on to the next thing that was actually happening at E3. So that was the Summer Game Fest. Two heavy hitting announcements: Death Stranding and Elden Ring. And then we come to, I think it started on Saturday. Yeah, June 12th, and
Oh,
we
I don't
had
remember the
the
date.
Ubisoft conference and the Square Enix conference. I think it was on that
No,
day.
no, it was the Gearbox. It was Devolver and Gearbox, I believe, on Saturday.
Hold on. I think
I am pretty
definitely
sure at least.
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, you're right.
Ubisoft was
It
on
was
Saturday, yeah.
Ubisoft and Gearbox. Yeah.
Gearbox and
Um,
Devolver was
it
in between, right? Or was
was
Devolver?
Devolver. Um,
I f-
I think Devolver was in between. Yeah. Okay.
because
So
I
we
know
have
there a lot happened on the
Ubisoft,
first day.
Gearbox, and Ubisoft, maybe potentially. Okay. Anyway, the
Actually, no.
Ubisoft
Before
conference.
Ubisoft, before that, there was the wholesome games too, which I don't think you guys really cared, but
Oh, wholesome games.
I care. Wholesome games,
Okay.
I
So,
cared
what are your
about
thoughts on the wholesome
that
game
quite a bit.
section? I didn't really pay attention. I didn't really. Yeah.
They
I
have
was
quite a
just looking
few.
forward to the Ubisoft.
Ah, like for me, I kind of like my weird, more niche type of indie games. So they showcase a few that
Mm-hmm.
are
Yeah.
pretty interesting. They showed a lot. And I think you mentioned there's for every 10 there's only one that caught your eyes, like which I kind of agree. There's a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
little fillers, which is fine, right? Not filler
Mm-hmm.
games, indie games. It's kind of hit and
Yeah. Yeah.
miss,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a little harder to find your audience. But there are a few games that really stood out to me. Especially there been quite a few that's kind of similar to like Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, that type of
Mm,
farming, chill, really
yeah.
relaxing type of games. So I feel like that's kind of
You have any
becoming a bit of a
titles
trend.
that stood out to you?
Um, Personally, there is a game called I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Recolit. So it's like a 2D platforming game. You have to follow like the light source. So it's kind of like a really pixelated game. So the plot and the gaming mechanics seems kind of interesting. So I'm interested in that. There is a game called Lake. So that I can tell it's heavily influenced by Death Stranding because all you do
Lake
is deliver Lake. It's called Lake. So you're a delivery man or you deliver mails to different people in a town by the lakeside town, and then you kind of form relationship with them and stuff, and that's all you do. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, this is definitely inspired by Death Stranding. Although in this case, it's a Strand type game, and the mood and atmosphere seems much more relaxing and chill. So that's kind of cool. So same type of gaming mechanic, but atmosphere is different. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that. I believe you can get a demo for that at the Next Fest on Steam. I think I saw.
We'll talk about the Next Fest.
I think I saw that. And then there's a game called Yokai Inn. So that's the Stardew or Animal Crossing type of game where you kind of run an inn. There's a bunch of like little monsters, kind of like Spirited Away type of atmosphere, where you run an inn. So that game looks kind of cool. I'm gonna check that out. And then there's a few other ones that's kind of more for memes. There's a game called Hot Pot for One. I'm kind of curious to see.
I saw that. I was like, oh, Ricky's gonna like this one.
And then there's another game called Power Wash. I think it's called Power Wash Simulator, where it's like a simulation game. All you do is just power washing, cleaning face.
Oh, no,
man, when I saw that, I was like, yes, give it to me. Something about using a power washer or pressure washer.
Yeah. There's a whole subreddit called Power Wash Porn.
It's so good. It's so satisfying. So I think I'm gonna get that game. So wholesome games have awesome. So wholesome game. That's very wholesome.
Okay.
So they have some gems over there.
Yeah. I wasn't really paying attention. I was getting ready for my stream for the Ubisoft conference and just getting into the groove of things and seeing things here and there. I probably missed the 1 out of 10 game that looked more interesting than the others, but I'll take your word for it for those wholesome games. After that, of course, we have the Ubisoft conference.
Ubisoft,
and honestly,
oh boy,
that was pretty doo-doo overall. Very ready.
What did they announce? I don't even remember.
That isn't that the point. You don't even remember.
To me, I don't know. You guys always hate on Ubi, but like I like
Ubisoft is just super generic, non-original, and just for the casuals. So we have our resident casual here, Timo. So I guess you have something to say about Ubisoft.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I think Ubisoft has their strong franchises. So like they did some expansions for Rainbow Six. Avatar looks pretty good. And it's made on. It looks like it's similar to like Division's engine. So it looks like from the trailer, it looks good. They haven't released any gameplay for it, but I think that would be kind of cool. Like I said, one tidbit of information, like I was sharing with the guys earlier, is like I don't know. I didn't realize that Ubisoft worked on Disney World's Avatar ride, and the trailer is actually pieces of that ride. So I guess they've been working on this for a while. I went to the ride in 2018, so it looks like that. So I mean that was such a great experience at Disney World. I wish I could have done that ride twice. So if that was kind of part of the experience, then the game might be something to play.
That or the game will look nothing like it, and typical Ubisoft fashion.
Do you think that's a good thing? That it's based off of the ride, or it uses stuff in the ride,
like reuse assets
from the game. Yeah,
that doesn't sound good to me. That doesn't
sound good to me.
Sounds like they are still very far behind in terms of development. It's gonna be.
I don't know. It was the best 4D ride I've ever had. So I don't know. It was quite.
I never but that's a ride. Experienced the ride, so I guess I can't say anything.
So no, but like what I'm saying is like the way the graphics looked and the way the artistry looked in the game. I think it was amazing. So I mean, it is a movie based off a movie. So I mean, and typically video games don't really do well. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
To be fair, it did look interesting to me.
Yeah.
It caught my eye because Avatar is one of my favorite movies of all time, and you know, it definitely has the world built already to be made into a decent game. So, Avatar, it's not bad, not bad looking, I guess, but I don't have high expectations for it.
But yeah, again, like you guys saying, they didn't have no groundbreaking or new IPs other than that, so that's kind of disappointing on that end. But Ubisoft is always working stuff, so we'll see.
So
what did you think about that first game they showed, the Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction?
Oh, the Rainbow Six Alien, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You see anything of that, Timo?
I didn't actually. I'm sorry.
Come on, man! Of all three of us, that would be the most interesting thing.
I didn't watch it because I thought it was just an expansion. I didn't realize it was.
See, I think that explains everything. The one person who will be interested in it didn't care about it. What more do we have to say?
Oh wow!
It looked boring, honestly. The enemy design looked pretty generic and average. It's co-op but honestly, like with the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six name, even just a Tom Clancy name, usually they have more grounded and rooted in reality type shooters, and that's what they're known for, like the futuristic sci-fi or modern shooter. And they have the Advanced Warfare and Rainbow Six, what else, Division, things like that. And it's more rooted with military shooter. And then we have Extraction, and it's just like, what direction are they going now?
No, but that's what I'm saying. I think it's just their version of like a zombie mode, like from Call of Duty. So I think it's just that's maybe what it is. It's an expansion, right? It's not like a new game or anything.
It's a new game, bro.
What?
It's a whole.
Is it a new game?
I swear it's a whole ass game.
Oh, because I thought that like the 4-man co-op was just based off of like the Rainbow, like the regular Rainbow Six. But
I thought it says like Rainbow Six Extraction. So well, that goes to show how much we care about it.
I don't know. What's the highlight of Ubisoft?
All right, next. What's next?
Oh, Rabbids.
Mario Rabbids.
That was probably That was the highlight.
Mario and Rabbids.
That actually looked fun.
The highlight of.
The majority of the games shown were just updates on current games. Surprisingly, Assassin's Creed Valhalla will go into its second year. That's how they announced it. For Valhalla's second year, we are adding DLC. I found that interesting. Usually they come out with a new Assassin's Creed every year or 2 years or whatever.
Yeah, they try to milk it. Just release a DLC or just release the same game with a different skin on it and then charge full price for it.
Mm-hmm. So Ubisoft Conference, meh. And then afterwards, we had the.
Oh, before Gearbox. That, they did announce Far Cry 6. I just remember.
Oh yeah, Far Cry 6. That didn't interest me that much. I'm not much of a Far Cry fan. I never played any of them, so
I never played it.
I can't say much about that. So sorry, those of you who are Far Cry fans. We have not played. Oh, Timo, have you played any Far Cry?
No, I've always wanted to.
Well, for some reason, there you go. The Ludens Query does not play Far Cry.
But I read like a lot of people are hyped for it because
I feel like Far Cry is one of those games that's like it looks interesting. It looks like it's a decent experience, but it always just falls under the radar. It gets overshadowed by every other games. It's just one of those titles.
Yeah, you have to be a fan of it for sure.
Yeah, and the actor Giancarlo is like amazing actor. So he's like one of the main characters. Yeah, so
typecast as a villain.
Yeah, he's always like the best actor. Like he's awesome, and he's always in every like type of like pop culture like thing. Like Star Wars is in. He's like a lot of other like apocalypse type of movies and different things like that. So he's such a good actor.
He carries himself. He's very eloquent in his speech.
So if I were to play it, it's because of him. That's definitely why.
That's why he's in there. I am interested in Far Cry. I want to play
You
a
know
Far
what Far
Cry.
Cry is? Far Cry is like your second child. Like it's not the firstborn. It's not your last one. It's like the middle child who's just kind of forgotten, right? I feel like that's what Far Cry is.
Oh, man. I feel like I have to go and like just
But they
do it.
have the
Maybe
most
I play
fun.
all the reboots. Play all the reboots for.
Yeah. So Far Cry,
Battle, and
decent, I
then we.
guess.
Yeah.
So next up, Gearbox.
Oh man, we're not going to talk about Battlefield, bro. Battlefield
Battlefield?
was like before E3 started.
No,
That wasn't part of Ubisoft. That's not Ubisoft.
no.
No,
So
I'm
yeah.
not saying that.
Well, like I think it was.
We'll
It
get to
was
that. We'll get
we'll
to that.
get to that. We'll get to that because
We'll
it
get
is
to
part of
that.
the conference. It was
Okay.
part of one of the conference. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
So
So
Gearbox.
Gearbox, one of the most trash showcases. It was a mess right from the get go. Like, who are we seeing? I don't even remember his name. I think the director of the Borderlands games or whatever. And he's on the set of the Borderlands movie, just walking around, just messing around on set, and trying to find someone to talk to. And it was like not really organized, right? And and I just didn't care. I didn't care about it, And it was 15 minutes of that before we saw anything game related. And
Was
then
it that
the thing
long?
that was game related that they showed right after, this guy messing around on set talking to these celebrities was Wonderlands. And we already saw the Wonderlands
During
trailer
Summerfest.
during the Summer Game Fest. So it was like, okay, this is old news. This is exact same trailer.
Yeah.
And then what else did they show? Godfall. I think that was like the only two things that they showed. I don't even remember the other things.
So what was the update with Godfall? Because I know you
It's
played
a
it.
new
So.
DLC
Okay.
coming out in like August, but like no one cares about Godfall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like personally, I'm for Godfall. I wanted to succeed,
Mm-hmm.
but they just had made so many terrible decisions with that game that I'm not even like surprised at their lack of interest for in the gaming industry. Like,
At
I'm
least they
not
finally
surprised. I
have.
have no sympathy for them because all of their decisions they put that put them where they are.
Yeah, at least
And
now
they're
they
falling
have
behind
matchmaking.
Oh, that's just one of the decisions. Why did you not have matchmaking from the get go?
After
Yeah.
almost a year, they finally have matchmaking. Imagine that, eh?
I
Online
know,
co-op
right?
game.
Oh my god. Honestly, Godfall is worth a try if it's like $40. It's definitely worth $40. The gameplay is on point. That's about it. The loot game is interesting. It's it's worth a shot. But that was the only thing that was really shown during Gearbox. It was
Gearbox,
Wonderlands
yeah.
and Godfall. And
Yeah, I feel like they spend most of the time just talking about their movie.
their
That was
movie,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
no one really
trash.
cares. Yeah,
Trash.
and
Like
they try to
Gearbox.
they try to be funny and like different, but it just came off as lame. Especially coming up coming they came after Devolver. Because I think we talked about how lame that is compared to Devolver.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they
I
came
think
after Devolver.
no.
No,
When
I
did
think
Devolver come?
Devolver happened at
Or is it Devolver happened before
Devolver.
PC?
When did Devolver happen?
Because
I don't know.
I think the PC conference tried to do something cheesy as well. I don't remember.
Let me get the date.
Anyways, well,
Devolver Digital. When did that happen?
so Gearbox, Gearbox is trash. Gearbox is trash overall. Are you
Okay,
looking
well,
up the
I can't find it.
the date? Okay, well,
So-
we'll get to it. We'll get to it. It's fine.
We'll get to it. What did we
Okay,
have
so you
next?
take us to the next one. I'll try to find it.
Oh yeah. The next one. So it's the next day, and we started the day with the Xbox conference. So as I was preparing for this podcast and just reviewing everything that happened over E3, like before getting into this podcast, I was like, Nintendo stole the show. Nintendo had the best showcase overall. But looking back, Xbox, I think Xbox had the best one overall. They had a lot more games to show, and it was the classic E3 experience, right? They did have some low points to it, but of course they had some heavy hitting titles in there as well. They started off their conference with Starfield, and I know that's a hyped Bethesda game that has just been teased for the longest time. And in the trailer, it said 25 years in the making. I'm like, no way that they've been working on this game for 25 years.
No, it is actually.
In the talk before the trailer, Todd Howard, is that his name? Todd Howard, the guy from Bethesda. He was telling the audience, like, we finally have the hardware to put out the game that we've wanted this whole time. This 25 years. So Starfield, they started off the conference with that, and they gave us a release date, which was it this year? No, it's next year.
The release date?
Yeah.
It's November next year. November 11th, 2022.
And yeah, there's just a teaser trailer for that, but of course it's a teaser. It's more than a year off. And then the next thing after that was Stalker 2, and I actually thought that was a great looking game. And I never actually played a little bit of the first Stalker, but Stalker 2, it looked real good. It's, post-apocalyptic, you're in Russia, Chernobyl type of thing. The survival type of thriller game, first-person shooter. It looked really good. The trailer looked really good for that.
Stalker 2. I don't know. For me, I'm not big into that genre, so I kind of didn't really care about it.
I don't know. For the Xbox conference, it's catering to the North American market, right?
Yeah.
And the North American market is about that action adventure, first-person shooter, third-person shooter.
They're much more about. They're much more about the dude bro shooter, so that's they're catering to their fan base, which is fine.
Yeah. I like shooters, so
yeah.
I enjoy good shooting games. So Stalker 2 was definitely something that appealed to me.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to confirm that Devolver was indeed on Saturday before Gearbox.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It was only 30 minutes long. It happened between Ubisoft and Gearbox. Yeah.
I see. Timo, did you see anything from the Xbox conference?
I was watching the one that and I know everybody kind of talks about this with Xbox, is Halo Infinite. I watched a little piece of the gameplay trailer, gameplay, like some of the gameplay and stuff. I've like one of my first games back in like early 2000s was like Halo. So I always have a soft spot for Halo, despite not playing Xbox itself. But and I played it on PC at the time, so I always look forward to seeing something from Halo. So it looks good. It's supposed to be free to play,
multiplayer only. Multiplayer. Yeah. I think the campaign though.
Yeah, the campaign you got to buy separately, but at least multiplayer.
Well, it's going to be on Game Pass, so
yeah. So I think I think it's a good move for the multiplayer for it to be free to play, because Halo's strong point has always been, like, the story is amazing, but their loyal fan base is on the multiplayer side.
It's multiplayer.
Yeah. So
to be fair, Halo Infinite going free to play for the multiplayer is a smart move. I have no idea how they're going to make money, honestly. Like, so they've delayed the game for a whole year.
With the game looking like that, they have to make it free to play, man.
And then it being on Game Pass day one, because it's a first party studio, Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they're gonna make money.
So they still have Battle Pass on it. It's still a Battle Pass through it, and apparently, what they're saying that you can apparently pick the way you progress through it and things like that. So a lot of fans are happy about how the Battle Pass is. I mean, they haven't showed what is going to be in the Battle Pass, so we'll have to see what is involved in a Battle Pass and what you get with it. So, but they seem like their business model for the Battle Pass seems like gamers are are going to be happy with it. Microsoft, they have a lot of money behind them that they just throw money at stuff. So they don't need to make back that money right away for them to put for the game to be off the ground or whatever. So they have the advantage as opposed to a lot of other developers because they could just throw money, whether it's a sinking ship or not. They can throw money at it. So we'll see.
Although there is, I did notice some cosmetics in Halo, for the multiplayer. Because at one point I noticed one of the Master Chief. I don't know what you call those guys. One of the Master Chiefs. He's wearing like a samurai helmet.
Yeah.
Spartans, okay.
But based on that, it feels like they're gonna have a lot more cosmetics, like DLCs, whatever you can purchase.
Yeah.
So
that
I would assume
samurai
that
helmet as actually like probably a fan service callback thing to Halo 3 days, because that helmet, I believe, was one of the most sought after cosmetics in Halo 3. Back before, when you can just buy cosmetics and you actually had to do stuff in the game to unlock
you have to earn it.
things. Back in ancient time, when you unlock things through gameplay.
When everything is actually in the game.
I think it was called the Hayabusa armor set or something. And that samurai helmet you're talking about, that's like a Halo 3 thing. So I'm pretty sure Halo fans would have been hyped to see that. But yeah, it being free to play, it actually makes me wanna try it because it's free to play, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be on PC. So
yeah, it's PC and Xbox. So
I will get to play it, and thank you, Microsoft, for being pro-consumer. Okay. Anyway,
all right.
Other highlights from Xbox for me personally: Back for Blood, the return of Left 4 Dead, the developers of Left 4 Dead. Back for Blood looks really cool, looks hella dope, and it's actually coming out with an interesting game mode where you either play as one of the zombies or one of the survivors, and basically it's just like a race against time, or like
PvP?
a time trial type thing. It's PvP, and the way the rounds work is that the first round, the survivors have to last as long as they possibly can before the enemy zombie team kills them, and they have like hordes of zombies helping the players kill the survivors, and the zombies that you pick are like the the high tier zombie characters or zombie classes. And then after the first team dies, they have the time set for how long they survived, and then the second round they switch sides. So whoever was survivor becomes zombies the next round, and they have to kill the survivors that were previously the zombies in the previous round. And
so
now the
you're
second
forced
round
to play both
survivors
sides, eh?
has to survive longer than what the first round survivors did or set the time as.
Okay.
And I thought that was really interesting. That's really interesting, an original game mode for zombie shooter. The zombie shooter has been beaten like beaten to the ground. Ooh, bless you. And yeah, and I thought that them doing this kind of game mode kind of refreshes the genre a little bit, and I thought that was cool. Back for Blood, I'm definitely hyped for that. A lot of shooters. Battlefield 2042. We already
more
seen,
shooters.
like the what's it called? The trailer for that beforehand. So I'm hyped for that.
Yeah.
But something that I know Bacon here, Ricky, will be interested in. They showed Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, but at the same time, we've seen like trailers for it already. There's been a demo for or beta for it already, so it's like them showing Diablo 2 doesn't do much for me because I know it's coming already.
Yeah.
We've seen gameplay of it. We've seen people play it, so I don't know why they showed a trailer again. And I didn't notice if there's anything new in the trailer, but all I know it's like, okay, it's Diablo 2. We all know it's coming.
Yeah.
So I felt like it's just rather than an announcements, it's more like an ad, like legit just advertising the game. Or it's like Xbox, they have to find some popular game to fill out their slots to kind of please the people, right?
Right. Other than that, everything else was pretty average to me, and uninteresting
Yeah,
overall.
Party Animal. How about Party Animal?
Party Animal.
Party Animal, man. That game looks dope.
Oh wait, was
That
that
game,
the one the Gang Beast one?
the Gang Beast one, Party
Oh
Animal,
shoot.
man. How can you forget about that game? Damn you
Oh.
do bro shooters, man, with no taste in games.
Oh man. Yeah, Party Animals. Gang Beast is a hella fun game. But now
It's yeah,
Party Animals, it's gonna be online. I know Gang Beast isn't online, but Party Animals, basically, essentially, it's Gang Beast, but it's gonna be online now.
yeah.
So,
So that I'm looking forward to.
all right. Surprisingly, apparently,
Yeah.
like at the
Well, and then they announced Psychonauts 2, Xbox.
eh, I don't, I
Like
don't, I
I
have,
don't
I've
know
never
too
played
much about it,
Psychonauts.
but yeah, like I don't know too much about it, but I think it means quite a lot to some people.
Mhm.
So just throwing that out there. They did announce that. They
Yeah.
did announce another, well, not announce, but show off another JRPGs, kind of indie JRPG, but I don't think anyone cares. So let's move on.
The next thing after Xbox was Square Enix, and that one was a little lackluster, not very great. They started off with Guardians of the
Square.
Galaxy, which was cool,
They spent way too much time.
because
Yeah, it
it's
was
new.
cool, but I felt like they spent way
Yeah,
too much time on that.
they spent
They spent like
20
half their
minutes.
Is it 20 minutes out of 30?
Yeah, 20
Something like
minutes.
that. It was way too long.
20 minutes on Guardians of the Galaxy in the
Man.
beginning. Like,
Yeah.
the hype wore off within a couple minutes, right? And then just kind of kept on going on. So it dragged on quite a bit. But they did show
Yeah.
gameplay, and it was interesting. It looked cool. Obviously, for Marvel fans, Guardians of the Galaxy, you play as Star Lord Peter Quill, and you got to command the Guardians. And yeah, but to me, it just looked like
Hold on.
your average game.
It,
Nothing
yeah, my,
too
my my
crazy.
biggest problem with that game, it's their character design. Because I felt like
Yeah.
well, obviously they can't use the movie design because you have to pay more
Yeah,
licensing fees. So they try to make it kind of close to the movie version, but not quite. So
Mhm.
because of that, they look kind of generic. So I would rather they just go full comics, just go crazy, make them look as like
Yeah, like they
unrealistic as
should have went
possible.
comic book style, like character looking
Yeah.
person, instead of random B actor, you know,
Especially
like
Star Lord, he looks like as generic as possible.
generic.
Like
I could
he's like
probably see
his
that
character
guy
model.
on.
It's something you'll find in like Skyrim, the default model. Like when you first start Skyrim, that is the character model for Star Lord. That's what you
He looks like
see.
a influencer.
Wow.
He's like a person that
Oh
you would
god.
look at and is like, hey, is that an Instagram influencer? Is this the direction that we're going in for character design? Because I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
No, I don't like it. It's
And that's the
trash.
same issue that I had with Avengers. A lot of the Avengers just look generic as hell,
Yeah,
and they
that
just
too.
didn't
I
know how
agree.
to make them look. They didn't look like comic book characters. They just look like people cosplaying.
Yeah, that's exactly. It looks like people in cosplay. They don't look like superheroes. They don't look like
Yeah, they look
people
like
with
good
powers.
people, good-looking people doing
And
cosplay.
yeah, in a
I,
cosplay.
I
Yeah.
think Groot and Rocket look pretty good. I think Drax looks good as well.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
because Groot
Gamora's
and
more of
Rocket
the
are not human-looking
yeah.
characters.
yeah. Gamora
And
looks good as well because I
nah,
think
Gamora
I
looked
think
good. Gamora looked good.
Gamora's all right. I felt like they could have went a little further with her, and same with Drax. Like they could have went a bit more alien with him. You see, just like a
Yeah,
different skin
Drax looked a little bit
with
generic
like
too.
a patch of different color skin, and that was it. It felt kind of half-assed.
I
I don't
wonder
know.
if
Yeah.
the
Like
the
I don't
character
know.
models
I don't
based
know
off of the
what they look like.
actors.
And
Well,
I was gonna say,
they looks pretty comic accurate to me because they're not based off Gamora and Drax are more based off the comic than they are from Guardians of the Galaxy.
yeah, like I
So
haven't read the comics, so I don't know how accurate they are.
yeah, because her
Just
suit that she wears in there is like one of her best suits.
I don't know. What do you think, Timo? This seems like right up your alley in terms of games.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
No,
Marvel
I
comics.
like it. It's the same studio, like I said, that made Deus Ex. I really enjoyed that game. And it's a game I finished, Moses. So, um, without killing a lot of people on it. So I kind of like that. It seems like it's going to stay true to form to Thief and that game. Um, so a lot of people, I've heard some feedback that people are upset that they didn't get to play. They don't get to play as the other characters. But to me,
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
really
yeah.
care about that as much because Star Lord is the leader of the group, so that makes sense. They
I don't know.
licensed about 30 80s songs, actual 80s songs that they incorporated into there. So I think the music is going to feel good. I feel like maybe the trailers, like some of the rendered like videos, like we're saying, I think need some work on it. But I feel like the gameplay looks good. I feel like like the aliens that they fight and stuff like that looks like Guardians of the Galaxies and stuff like that. So it depends. Like one of the things I would like to see is if you get to walk around your ship, certain things like that. I don't want to be like just like there's a map and you're just traveling from place to place. I would like to walk around the ship and see details around that. So it'd be cool if it's a space game. I want to see certain aspects of being part of space because there's a lot of times where sci-fi games where it's just going from map to map, like you're going from one planet to the other planet, and it doesn't feel
Mass
like you're
Effect.
actually, yeah. No, Mass Effect. One of the things I liked about Mass Effect is because you got the advantage of walking around your ship
Man, I gotta
and
play
seeing
that
that,
game.
right?
I
So,
spent $90 on that piece of game.
which one, Andromeda?
One,
No, the
two, and three.
collection. The collection.
Oh,
I should have
what?
waited on sale, man.
What's wrong with it? Didn't they revamp it?
Boring as hell, man.
What?
Mass Effect 1, boring.
What lies are you talking here?
Mass
I'm
Effect,
telling
one
the
of them.
truth, bro.
Mass
You're just
Effect is
walking
one of the
around the
most overrated
Citadel. I'm
franchise
talking
in
to
gaming
this
history.
dude,
No,
and then
bro.
like, okay, here, go talk to that dude over there. I was like, okay, I'll go talk to that dude over here, and then okay, I'll talk to this guy, and then it's like, hey, are you looking for this guy? You gotta talk to this guy at this place. I was like, oh my god.
That number one is because you're getting introduced to the story. Number two is the best one, I think, in my opinion. But
Oh, number
That's what
two.
everyone's telling me, but like the
I,
cost of
I
entry is too high.
wow,
The cost of
nah,
entry to
man, you
Mass
got to
Effect
get
2
into the
is too
story,
high
bro.
because I have to go through Mass Effect 1.
Yeah, they did some weird stuff with Mass Effect One with the gunplay too, but in two they fixed it. But it's whatever. Anyways, back to
yeah.
back to the
Anyways,
thing.
yeah. Oh,
Uh,
I just want to
yeah.
say one thing. Big F to all the streamers who plan on streaming Guardians of the Galaxy because they have to like mute
Oh
all the
man,
music.
they can't do it.
They can't do it. It's either
DMC
they
strikes.
change all the music or they
You
mute
gotta
the game.
mute the
I don't
whole
know.
game.
Wow.
That'll be a
That's
disaster. I've seen let's plays of people playing games, and they had copyright music in it, and they just mute all of the music, and they play
yeah.
through the whole game with no music. I'm like, how do you do this? How do you enjoy this game without music? And then, like one of the let's plays I've seen was of Spider-Man Miles Morales,
Yeah.
because they have licensed music in there in the intros and the outros. And I was looking at like the outro, and you see actually the intro. I would say the intro. You see Miles Morales, just traveling around New York City on subway, walking on the sidewalk, and he's got the headphones on. He's bumping to music, right, to the beat of the background song, but there's no background song, so you're just seeing Miles Morales just bobbing his head, looking like a fool, and it's just hilarious. It's comical, and I
Yeah.
will never play a game like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
anyways, moving
uh,
on.
Square Enix. Was
Square
there
Enix.
anything noteworthy to you, Ricky? Because I know you.
Babylon's Fall. I am a little concerned. It's platinum, so I'm hyped for it, but at the same time, I'm not sure what's going on in platinum. Sounds like you're going through a little problems here and there. So I'll see
Yeah,
what happens. The game, the combat looks fine, but overall, like visually, the game looks a little lacking. But that's platinum, so whatever. The bigger story, it's Strangers of Paradise. Boy,
Stranger in Paradise. One word.
okay,
Chaos.
so chaos. Okay, so first of all, when I first saw the trailer, one of the first thing I saw was Team Ninja, and I got hyped because
Okay.
they are the ones behind Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden still regarded as one of the best action game of all time. Actually, the collection came out recently, so go check it out if you get a chance. But yeah, Team Ninja. They're the ones who made Neo 2, right? So they have a at least well, it's Koei Tecmo. I don't know if it's the same team, but at least the same dev, same publisher. So going into it, I was like, okay, cool. Team Ninja. This should be decent. At the very least, I'm expecting cool characters, good action. We see the game, and then they zoom in on the main character, and it's the most generic. You think Star-Lord is generic? You gotta look at this guy. This guy takes the whole default character model to like they take it up to 11. It's one of the most generic dude bro you can find on the street.
Dude, bro.
Legit, like his looks, his face, his haircut, even his costume. It looks like he's wearing a regular T-shirt. In the world of Final Fantasy, we're in a fantasy world. Everyone is wearing fancy armor straight out of freaking World of Warcraft, spikes everywhere, and this guy just chilling with a big ass sword, wearing a T-shirt with a buzz cut, and he talks like this. Yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass. That's what he sounds like.
Amazing. You should have been the voice
in a Final Fantasy world. In a Final Fantasy world, and he's just like talking shit about like chaos. I'm gonna kick your ass. Yeah, let's go. And that's what the game sounds like. So that it's just really off-putting. It's really off-putting. And what's even better is apparently I heard throughout the game, you can get different like armors and helmets and stuff, so you can put stuff over the guy. So with that option, I don't understand why they didn't put that into the trailer. Instead, they went of the most generic possible look they can find and use that as a trailer. That I do not understand.
The term most generic or very mediocre, I'm thinking about. I'm like, is this redundant? How do you be more generic? If you're generic, you're in the middle. You can't be more in the middle. But it's,
like that guy.
I guess this guy takes it.
That guy. They should take the picture of that guy, put it in the definition with generic. That is the definition of generic. Because you cannot top it. How? You cannot top the genericness of that character. But all that said, I still haven't tried the demo. I haven't tried it yet. So I heard the gameplay is actually not bad. So I still have some hopes for it. And the concept is cool because it's a prequel to the first Final Fantasy. So the concept is interesting.
I thought that was cool too.
Yeah.
Although to me it looked very mediocre in terms of the art direction, art design, art style, graphics. It didn't
I blame I blame Nomura for that. I don't understand this guy. So for years, this guy, he's been getting complaints from everyone how he over designs his characters. His characters is wearing 10 belts on his chest and wearing weird shorts and spiky hair, whatever. Look at Kingdom Hearts, right? Like that character is wearing like 3 belts on his waist, and he has like another like 2 on his chest. He has like 1 each on the arm and stuff.
Who wears belts on his shorts?
Yeah. Go check out some of his character design. You see belts everywhere. It makes no sense. He has a like strong obsession with belts. So he's been getting flack for it for years. So maybe he finally took it too hard, and then he gave us this generic character. It's like, all right, you guys don't want belts? It's a character of nothing on it.
Be careful what you
what we wish for.
Needs more belts.
So in terms of the blandness or the shitty art design, I blame Nomura.
That's what the word is. Bland.
Very bland.
That's a lot. That describes a lot of the games I saw at E3. Bland.
Just bland. So, anyways, that is my thought on Strangers of Paradise. Has potential, but the trailer was bad. It was trash.
I have the same thoughts. Babylon's Fall, the gameplay looks interesting, really really cool. You got the co-op there, I think 4-player co-op, and the gameplay looks awesome. But it was off-putting. The graphics, they looked very PS3 gen, it seemed. Like it was not a good trailer. And yeah, Stranger in Paradise, bland. Like even
Yeah,
the
well,
voice
I'll
acting,
still
it was
hold up
eh.
I'll still hold up hope for it because the reason I say this because looking back to like I think it's like 2011 or 12, I forgot which year it is. During the Square Enix conference, they announced the original Nier,
Yeah.
and then I don't know if you remember what the original Nier looks like. It looks like trash, even for its time. It looks like trash. Graphics, it was terrible. But when the game came out, it developed a cult following because the music and story it's so good. And then eventually we got Near Automata because of that. So after that incident, I've kind of learned not to judge a game too quick based on its graphics,
Okay. Well, I
especially
blame
coming from
whoever set
Square
up
Enix.
that trailer. They did not put
Yeah,
in the most good looking
uh,
parts of the game, and that's what you're supposed to do
yeah,
in the trailer.
yeah. You want to make it look good. At least we got gameplay. That's something Starfield couldn't say.
Mhm. All right, so that was Square Enix.
Yeah.
Next up on that day was the PC gaming show. Now
Ah,
that for the most part, it was boring as hell.
I
The
don't
only
even
thing
remember
that
what I
looked
saw
cool
there.
was Naraka. They showed that at the
Naraka
beginning
looks
of the
good. And then Lemnis Gate was that during these PC?
yeah, Lemnis Gate. They actually had a couple, but the majority, I'd say
Yeah,
90% of the titles, they were just meh. But
meh.
a few noteworthy ones. Yeah, Lemnis Gate. Just the description of it alone is enough to pique your interest. First person shooter turn based strategy PvP. Like what?
What? Yeah,
What is that? That's exactly what it is.
but
I
you
like
never know.
the
It sounds like pineapple on pizza, but it works, right?
it's the concept is very interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It
have
might
a
work. It might
25
work.
second window of time to make a play in first person. Like I don't even know how you begin your play, but it's I guess it's like chess in a way. Like you make your first move and then the person responds with their own 25 second of you basically record your move and then the enemy responds and then you just keep going
Mhm.
back and forth until someone loses. I don't even know, but I'm
Yeah,
willing to try. Um,
yeah. That
I
sounds
know
cool. Although
there's
the concept.
go ahead.
Oh yeah, go on. Oh
No,
okay.
you go.
So I mentioned during the stream. I said that concept sounds like a evolved version of the gameplay from Valkyria Chronicles. Although that's only PVE, but it is a turn-based strategy game with some third-person shooter type of aspect to it.
Hmm.
So I know
Tim,
you
what are
guys
you
haven't
clicking,
played it.
man? You keep on clicking.
Like if you guys have played Valkyria, you might understand what I'm getting at because it sounds similar. The concept sounds kind of similar. Like
Yeah.
there is turn-based. It's the turn-based strategy game, but there is some real-time action aspect to it.
Mm.
Hmm.
So it sounds like it's two like opposite genre, but it works. It works.
I see. I see. Yeah, Tim, what you clicking on, man?
I'm trying to catch up with these articles here.
The podcast is gonna be like click, 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 click,
No,
click,
you just cut
click,
out
click,
me.
click.
That's all.
I'm not trying to do more work than I have to.
uh,
All right, so I know this one piqued Ricky's interest. Gigabash was robot fighting. They had like mechs and like I don't even know how to describe. It was like isometric.
Yeah,
In the
it's
cityscape,
it seems like a
kind of like a beat 'em
multiplayer
up.
beat 'em up, kind of like isometric Smash type of game with like
Yeah,
monsters,
yeah.
like kaiju's and giant robots and stuff. So that looks really cool. That looks very cool. I
Mhm.
That's one of the game that I'm legit interested in since I like my kaiju's and giant mechs.
Something that I realized when looking at a bunch of the trailers is that a lot of the games that caught my eye were 2D Metroidvania type looking games. We had what's it called? There's a bunch of obscure titles. I'm gonna say them, but no one will remember what they are. But if you looked it up, they actually look cool. There's a
Yeah, some of
title
them look cool.
called "They Always Run." This looks like a 2D sci-fi Metroidvania type of game. Um, that looks cool, just based off of its art design or art direction. I think
Actually, the one that stood out the most to me, it's I think it was shown during Devolver. It's Trek to Yomi.
yeah. You
It's
know
it's
what? Let's
it's a
talk about Devolver for a little bit right now.
okay.
Devolver Digital, since that happened the day before and we skipped over that.
Mm.
Devolver Digital, definitely one of the best showcases of E3. That I think the entire showcase was good. There was like no low points. Even like
Yeah,
just the
I would
acting.
put them. I would put them above Xbox for me. Like I
True,
will I will
true.
rank them above Xbox, just for how
Where are my
entertaining it
notes
is.
on this? Where are my notes here?
Devolver.
Yeah, Devolver
Where's my note?
Digital. They started with Shadow Warrior 3, and I like my shooters, and that looked like a Doom style arena shooter, but
Mm.
with like Japanese aesthetic, I guess, because it's
Mm.
Shadow Warrior or whatever. It looked
Yeah.
colorful and gritty. You had epic weapons, um, very reminiscent of Doom, and you had a grapple. Like grapples, they make any game better, honestly. Like you take a game and you add a grapple, it just takes the fun factor up a couple notches.
Mm.
That looked good. Basically, every game that they showed that were
Yeah, I
big
feel like every
showcases.
game.
Back to Yomi,
Yeah, Trek to
what
Yomi.
Ricky said already. Back a black and white Japanese
Basically,
samurai
yeah. Basically,
period
took
piece game,
Ghost of Tsushima black and white mode, but 2D.
2D. Yeah,
That's
had the
what it is.
Kurosawa film
Kudos.
style.
Yeah. Oh man, it's
That
beautiful.
looked good. That looked
That game,
good.
that looks dope. I think they
2D
won that game.
adventure.
Yeah, that looks really
So
good. And then Wizards with Gun. Actually, that looks kind of
Wizard
fun.
with a gun.
Yeah, that looks like a fun co-op game.
Yeah,
So I'll keep
isometric
an eye on that.
twin stick shooter,
Yeah.
and you're a wizard with a gun.
Yep. With a gun. What's more to
I
it?
guess that's gonna be like a roguelike type of game. I guess.
I guess we'll see. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It does seem like you can get a lot of upgrades. So, either way,
Yeah,
it
all the
looks
games that they
interesting.
showed at Devolver were very interesting. They had the game called Death's Door, where you're this bird with an arsenal of weapons,
Ah, yeah.
and
And
it's
you can
like
really you can mess with
it's
the
like
environment and
Hades
stuff.
bird version.
Oh, okay. I'm
Hades
thinking of a different
mixed
one.
with
I'm thinking of a
Untitled
different
Goose
game.
Game.
Yeah, that's
But
what it
yeah,
is.
that's
I'm thinking
another
of a different game.
isometric adventure game
Yeah.
that looks really dope. Um, and another noteworthy game that I thought was pretty cool was Phantom's Abyss or Phantom Abyss, and that's that obstacle course first person uh, game with
Mm.
asynchronous multiplayer. Like you go into a dungeon and you have to get to the end of the dungeon. And if you fail, you basically leave a phantom behind for other players to see. And when you go through it, you see other people's phantoms as well. Go through it, and you leave a phantom if you fail. So every single
Mm.
phantom has failed. And apparently, once someone finishes the
Oh,
obstacle
yeah.
course,
Yeah.
they close the dungeon,
Yeah, that's it.
and that's it. And then I guess they have to do it with procedural generated levels. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't see how they can have limited amounts of levels.
Yeah.
There's
After
gonna
like
be none left.
after 2 days, no one can play the games. Like, oh, all the dungeons are done.
So I thought that was pretty cool. They have asynchronous multiplayer. I think since Death Stranding, I have more appreciation for that type of online multiplayer type of gameplay
Mhm.
where it's asynchronous. You do stuff in the game that impacts other people's playthrough of their own game, but you don't have to play at the same time. So
Yeah, that's good.
Oh,
that's interesting.
We can thank From Software for that.
And then
Demon Souls.
Devolver. Yes.
They-
Devolver
they-
Digital, they killed it with the acting and everything, the
the
whole
what's
jabs
it
at
called?
the industry and everything.
Monetization as a surface.
Yes. It's
that
basically a
that is
store.
monetization as a surface. They have the what's it called, Devolver Digital Prime Plus whatever it's called. You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
get
yeah.
your premium
Max Pass
purchase.
Plus or whatever.
Oh man, that's
And
that's
all
how
of
you do
these
a
games are
comedy skit.
available on the Max Pass Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh man, yeah, going from Devolver Digital to the PC gaming show, it was just like,
Oh
you
no,
know,
so we
don't
went from that to
don't
Gearbox.
try to. No, I'm saying like in terms of the style of
Oh,
the
the style, yeah,
showcase,
the PC,
because
the PC
PC
one, yeah,
gaming had similar, they had their bits and their sketches or
yeah,
whatever, and their
the whole
their
spaceship,
acting
little,
portions, and then it was just
yeah,
like, just get to the games. I don't care.
yeah.
Devolver Digital gets away with it because the writing is so well done.
It's over the top. It's over the top. They are it feels like they're 100% committed to this wacky over the top comedy. Whereas the PC one, they felt like, yeah, we just want to add a little bit of comedy just to
Yeah.
spice things up a bit. But
Well, the thing is they actually get actors to do it instead of executives or people that are in HR or whatever.
yeah,
That have no acting background. And that's why Devolver Digital gets away with it, because they write something over the top that is written for gamers, and not I don't even know who wrote the PC gaming script showcase, but like, who are they writing it for? Like, no one cares. No one
you
cares
know what?
about DevBot.
Yeah, like it sounds like it's a bunch of skits and jokes written by the big suits sitting in the office who laughs at his own jokes. That's a type of comedy we got from the PC conference.
But yeah, Devolver Digital, one of the best showcases. You know what? Yeah, I'd say they are probably the best showcase overall. Just looking back at it now.
Yeah.
And then
I guess
going back to PC gaming, I guess we talked about that already. Nothing much there. And then we're going into the Future Game Show that was hosted by what's his name? The guy that played Higgs, Troy Baker.
Troy.
And the
that whole segment, I don't think I really watched
Laura
it.
Bailey? Was it Laura Bailey?
Laura Bailey. Yeah, Laura Bailey. The two most
again, similar
the
to
most
the
well-known
PC
voice
gaming show.
actors.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what they showed there.
Similar to the PC gaming show, they showed very little noteworthy games. Even just looking at the list here, I wrote down every single game, and none of them really stand out to me, except for one that I think everyone should at least check out and look up on Google, called Harold Halibut. It is in my opinion, it had the best out of all the games shown, best art direction overall in terms of originality and creativity, because it was done through stop motion. Like, they handmade all of the assets, they hand drawn all of the assets, and did all of the animating themselves. Small team, this indie studio of like 12 people. And yeah, look up Harold Halibut. It was very fascinating to me. That caught my eye because of how original it looked, because it had that chicken run, those animated movies with the stop motion clay characters, but mixed with gameplay, right? So I thought that was really cool.
Interesting.
Other than that, nothing really stood out to me during
a lot of indie
game
games.
show.
That's what it is. It's E3, just indie games.
A lot of indie games.
Yeah.
So that was Sunday, June 13th.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Monday.
Moving on to Monday. So
what was
on
Monday?
Monday?
Oh boy.
On Monday, we'll start with some good news. That happened on Monday in television.
Oh, Hype.
This is the future of gaming right here. In television, the Amico home console. I think this is an awesome product, and I think it's worth checking out. And just for fun, having in your household to play with the family. It's a return to couch gaming and the return to pe- playing with people in person instead of you have to get your own console and you go home and replay online.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about the Amico console.
And
And
it's
then the
also kind of
arcadey
cool
games.
how it kind of brought back the 70s arcade game, all the Atari games, the quote unquote golden
Yeah.
age arcade games. It's all there in a nice, neatly
Mhm.
designed package. Although the price,
So
a bit much, but I'm genuinely
250.
interested.
It's $250.
Yeah,
In my opinion,
a bit much.
I would pay for that. I'd pay for that. I think, yeah, it reminds me of those consoles that you get at the flea market or, uh,
Yeah, it
you
looks
know,
like that. The knockoff. It looks like one of
the
those like
knockoff,
one of those knockoff consoles, or
like
Fisher Price consoles.
you plug in the actual consoles on the controller and you plug it into the TV and you have like a list of 600 games. It reminds me of one of those
Yeah,
things.
yeah, it looks like
Uh,
one of those. It does look like one of those.
I don't know. It looks like a dad who just doesn't, wants to protect his kids from like not seeing any graphic games or anything
no,
like
that's the
that.
thing. That's the
It's
thing.
just
I
like,
think for future generations of gamers,
oh, bro,
for
they brought back
us,
the
for our
skiing.
children, with the direction that gaming is going, with EA and Ubisoft and all of these loot boxes and kids turning into gambling addicts because of gotcha and loot boxes,
In loot box, yeah.
pulling cards for your FIFA Ultimate Team or whatever. This is a nice change of pace, and this is what kids should be playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not buying this for my son. I don't know, man.
Then your
It's
kid can
just
be a
like
gambling addict. That's no problem.
no,
Your
it's
kid.
just I don't know, man. Like it
Yeah,
brings me back to like the games I used to play in the '90s, but like I don't know, man.
well, you know what's the biggest megaton for this in television? Exclusive Earthworm Jim on this
Oh
console.
yeah, Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim, man. Yo, that was exciting playing that back on SNES.
But that's the thing. The,
So
the
it's
Amico
cool.
has the classic game type games, right? The arcadey games, and that's like the foundation of gaming.
Yeah, I just don't know if kids are gonna play it.
Well,
Kids will
they
play
will
it
if they
if
have
that's
no
the
choice.
only thing that they have.
Yeah, like
Don't let your
they're not getting
child play the
PS6 or whatever.
PS5, man.
Like
It's too
when my
late.
kids
It's
want to
too
play
late.
games, that is what they're getting. It's like,
Yeah,
all
man.
right, son. Here is the Amico. Have fun, knock stuff out.
You need to beat these games until you're able to play next gen.
Yeah,
That's a rule. You
I
need
don't
to
know.
understand where we came from.
yeah. Okay, all right.
Like,
Next,
just one more thought. You're spoiling your child if you're just bringing them straight into the next gen.
Sorry, bro. That's what's happening.
Anyways. Oh man. Here we go.
next,
Here we
next.
go.
We have a spicy one. We got a spicy
Here
one next.
we go.
The best,
What a damn
conference.
shame. What a damn. Oh, Take Two. Take Two
Take-Two.
Interactive. This is the owners, the parent company of Rockstar. Rockstar,
And 2K
that
and all the stuff.
is
Yeah,
the creators of what's it called? Red Dead Redemption
Mm-hmm.
and
Grand Theft
GTA
Auto.
5.
Mm-hmm.
These, like, how much billions of dollars do they make every year because of these games, right? Take Two. What did they show? A Zoom call. Oh my god. 45-minute Zoom call, I swear. Right from the beginning. Right from the beginning. Not even a trailer or anything. Just right from the beginning, you see this white dude's face some executive from Take-Two talking about diversity in gaming. Of course, you got to get a white guy to do that.
Yeah,
And
and what's even better, his background, it's obviously a green screen, but they didn't even put in the effort to put in a decent looking background. This is white. It's just blank white background. Nothing. And was so poorly. Yeah. I don't know.
And then the next scene, you have the panel of like, I think it was like 8 people, 9 people. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Group of people, the same thing with like low quality webcam with the white background, and they're all talking about diversity in gaming. And this is not the time to do this. You're just shoehorning this type of subject into a conference that everyone is expecting just game announcements, right? And I just think it was just totally out of place. Obviously, the subject matter is important, but there's a time and place for things.
It's not the time.
And I think timing is everything in terms of, having the best impact with this kind of subject matter. Mm-hmm. And this was terrible, terrible, terrible timing. What are your guys' thoughts?
Well,
my job is doing live broadcasting and doing those type of things, and one of the things companies got to get away from is Zoom in general. There's way better ways to do it, especially when you have the money, to do that properly. And you're in the States, so places are not locked down, so don't pretend you guys are at home doing stuff.
Listen. We at the Ludens Query, we're nobodies, basically. Look at our setup. This costs more than whatever they put on. Just take that in. So nobody podcasters that had a better production value than Take-Two Interactive, one of the biggest companies,
billions and billions of budget, and that's what they give us.
At least show us more Grand Theft Auto 5. That's all you do anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure they have some DLC for it.
Yeah,
show us the casino. Show us the casino in the thing. Yeah,
in 45 minutes. That's like we just saw those people, and oh man,
like this is the first time I would say at a conference. It's a legit embarrassment. There's other conferences that are not good, boring, trash. They didn't show the games I like, whatever. But this is an embarrassment for the whole gaming industry.
It's just that the timing was bad. That decision to put something like that in an E3 conference
doesn't matter. Like any gaming conference, any conference for that matter.
No, but I one of the things that I liked about E3 when I was there was in 2019 was the breakout sessions, and they had some cool breakout sessions like that. But they had a good panel, and it was different because you're like people that were interested in that topic or whatever went to panels like that, right? But if on a platform like that, I don't think they had breakout sessions. Did they have stuff like that?
No.
Okay, so then that's not the right place to showcase that at all. So you don't even have people that are interested in this, and your majority of the conference is to release a game. If you don't have a game, don't do anything. Like it's just like that doesn't make sense. Like that you're gonna just piss off a lot of gamers who they don't want to even hear about it to begin with, right? Not that it shouldn't be like I'm a big proponent and of talking about those topics, but like when it comes to that, like you're just pissing off gamers that just don't care about it. They probably got ripped on Twitter for all that.
So yeah, what they did is basically they paid money to be at E3 to chase after Twitter clout. That's what they did.
No, but then you just get ripped out of on Twitter.
No, like I'm referring to like the typical Twitter clout type of the typical tweet. They try to be like politically correct and try to get sympathy or acknowledgement, right? That's what they did there.
But
they did a 45-minute Twitter post.
That's
But
what
the
they are.
irony is that they don't do a lot of diversity to begin with in their games to begin with. So, like, they got a long way. Like, that's maybe the direction that you want to go into, but they got a long way to go with that. So, like, even if that's your main thing, like, I don't know.
It's just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
I
Wrong
think
people.
in a gaming conference, or to argue your point, Ricky, I think it does belong in a gaming conference if the context is right. Right? If
Yeah.
they just dedicated one day for those kinds of talks, then stick all of those things in that one day so that you know that you have the gamers, they are prepared and have that expectations. This is what
Mhm.
we're gonna expect
Yeah, or at
on,
least like
you know,
announce it
Social
beforehand.
Justice Warrior Sunday.
Yeah, or at least like they announce it beforehand, saying like this panel will be for about diversity and
Mhm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
basically that, right? So if you announce
Mhm.
beforehand, people have they know what they're getting into going into it. That would be fine. But they did this during a basically event where people are there or devs are there to announce their games, to show off
Yeah.
new stuff, and then you pull this type of stunts. That's yeah, like you said, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. They
Mhm.
just didn't know their audience. They didn't even know their platform that they were gonna be on. They just it definitely just seems like a whole bunch of suits talking about, oh, this is E3. When you think E3 and you're not even a gamer, you think it's just your typical, conference with other executives, right? And yeah, there's somewhere down the line there was miscommunication what kind of conference E3 was, because they
Just
obviously didn't know.
basically, and we ended up getting a Zoom call of a bunch of suits feeling themselves.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say it's suits, but like there's a bunch of different people from different organizations there talking
Yeah.
about diversity. But the thing is, no one really got the message. And you're talking to one of the most toxic communities ever. Your message is not going to go and be, you know, they're not going to go come across to
Yeah.
these people. It's going to go in one ear and out the other, one eyeball and then into the, I don't know.
It's
They're
like it's
watching
like
the stream.
it's like preaching about environmentally friendly and buying organic to a bunch of like homeless people. Like, no, that's not what they're. They don't care, right? They have much more important things to care about. They care about what's on their plate next. Don't
Mm-hmm.
preach about being environmentally friendly and stuff, right? No, they
Yeah.
don't give a shit about that. You don't talk. Well, they should, but it's it's not the
Yeah.
right crowd, so to
It's
speak.
yeah, like we're
Yeah.
not saying that these topics aren't
Uh,
important. They are important,
yeah, yeah,
but there
but
is a time and place for them.
there's
Yeah.
a time and place and a right crowd for it,
Yeah.
or at least that crowd has to be in the right mood.
Now that you mention it, it is like different analogy. It's like when you're walking down the street and then someone comes up to you with a clipboard, and they have the whole get up for
Yeah.
whatever charity, and is like, "Hi, sir. Hi, ma'am. Can we talk to you a little bit about diversity about today?" And you're on your way to work or something. You have something else on your mind. You want to do something else, and then this
Yeah.
person just shoves their clipboard in your face,
Yeah.
and you don't want to hear it.
No,
But anyway, that Take Two takes the cake for worst showcase.
of all time.
uh, Contextually speaking, this is the worst. Of course, if you just take this clip and put it into some other conference, I'm sure it'll fit just fine.
It'll be fine, but in context is important. So in this
Yeah.
case,
All right, moving on.
moving on. We spent too much time on them.
During that day, I didn't watch on Monday. They had
Uh,
indie games, freedom games, mythical games. I don't even know what these are.
yeah, those I miss. I missed a lot of those.
But
There's
later on in the day, we had Capcom. Do we even need to talk about Capcom? I think we already know what Capcom has in store because everything they showed was basically stuff that we already know about.
well, I just want to say that Capcom. I don't know why they seem a little obsessed with showing Monster Hunter stories because we saw the trailer doing Summer Game Festival. I'm pretty sure we saw it during Xbox, and then of course they showed it again during their own conference, and then the next day they showed it again on during Nintendo. 4 times they showed that goddamn trailer 4 times. So I felt like after E3, I don't even want to play the game. I was interested after Summer Game, but now that I felt like they're so desperate. There's like, you know how sometimes when people overhype something, you lose interest in it. That's
Yeah.
how I'm feeling towards Monster Hunter Stories. After E3, I don't want to play it.
Good job, Capcom.
So yep, mission accomplished, I guess.
But yeah, Capcom. Nothing to really talk about. They just had DLCs for Resident Evil.
Yeah, which is fine. I do want to talk about their last segment on the conference.
Okay. This is definitely right up your alley here.
So they said, yeah, we have something related to Street Fighter or CPT. So I was like, okay, hopefully they'll announce something, right? Maybe tease a new character, tease, announce some DLCs or whatever. No, it's a 10-minute long ad promoting the CPT tournament, the Street Fighter tournament. Something which they have already announced months ago. We have seen all of these already. We all know what this is about. So they spent basically 1/3 of their conference advertising this thing we already know about. So that was a big waste of time. A huge waste of time.
Yeah. I'm glad I missed all of it.
So that was a disappointment. All right. And after that was Razer. I watched Razer.
I know you got some thoughts on it.
So the stuff they showed off was interesting. They showed off a new laptop, which is pretty cool, for a bunch of high tech stuff in there. It looks cool, typical Razer stuff. They also showed off a monitor, which looks pretty cool. And then at the end,
that monitor, by the way, $3,000.
The monitor? No, the laptop was $3,000.
I swear the monitor was $3,000.
The monitor, I think the lowest one was $800. I forgot. I didn't check what the higher end ones were.
Maybe anyways, I saw it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. At the very least, I know the laptop is like the highest end. It's like $3,000. It's got some good specs though. It's got some good specs.
Yeah, but if it's $3,000, you buy your own rig.
Yeah, well, some people I don't want to call anyone names, but some individuals, let's just say, they prefer laptops for their own reasons. I'll leave them be. At the end, funny enough, they did announce that mask. What's it called? Project Hazel. The weird mask with RGB lights in it, with filter and all the stuff. So, in a sense, for North America, a lot of people are getting their second dose of vaccine already.
Yeah.
So I'm sure a lot of people are ready to give up on stop wearing the mask. And here is Razer announcing, yeah, we have plans to produce this mask. We don't have a date on when this will be released. Most likely, fourth quarter of this year. Wow. Fourth quarter of this year, in limited amount. Take that in for a sec. End of this year, they'll start shipping out these masks. How many people are gonna buy it? That's my question, right?
I'll buy it. Looks cool, man.
It's cool, but well, in a sense, it's good that they're still committed to this, because we don't know what's gonna happen in the next like 5-6 months.
I'll wear one
I go outside. A lot of variants and stuff. So hey, you never know, right? You never know. But outside of all of those, I have the biggest problem with the CEO himself, because the way he presents all his products, it sounds like a typical boss talking to his employees. That's what it sounds like to me. He just sounds like angry, a little arrogant, no smile on his face. Maybe that's a typical Asian thing. We always talk like we were pissed off. So maybe that's normal to him. But to me, as a consumer, when I listen to him, it just sounds like he is angry at me and just like telling me facts. Like I feel like I'm in a conference room listening to my boss telling us what to do.
Yeah.
So that is my biggest problem with that guy. Like
I think the thing is that he is the CEO of Razer. I looked it up.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know him. I never really seen him. Right. but I can just only assume things, and these are all presumptions I'm about to make. But he's a CEO, right? That has a high level of prominence, and it has a lot of weight to that title. So I'm pretty sure a few, got a lot of stuff going on in his head, a little bit inflated there. So he's got quite the ego, right? He's probably thinking to himself, "I'm the only one person that can do this conference. I'm the CEO."
Yeah, it's got a lot of ego, I guess. Because
Pretty
funny enough,
narcissistic.
if you compare it back to the Capcom conference, as shitty as it is, the host or the presenter, just nice looking lady, big smile on her face. So even though the announcements it's all trash, at the very least it sounds pleasant. When I listen to her, it sounds like okay, these games are fun. These games are fun. At least it makes me happy listening to
Yeah.
her. Versus that guy from Razer, that CEO from Razer, like I feel like I'm being talked down to. That is not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. Anyways, that is my
It's because
rant
you
on
don't
that.
own Razer products. He doesn't like you. He
I
wants you
have a
to
So
buy
Razer
it.
product. I have a Razer headphone. What do you mean? My webcam is Razer too, man.
He's talking to you like you don't own it.
It
He
sounds
don't
like that.
like you.
Yeah. Anyways, that's enough of that.
Anyway, moving
Move on.
on to the
Moving on.
last day of E3. We had the Nintendo Direct,
All right.
and overall, that was a good one. That was a good one. It was short and sweet, I'd say.
Yep.
So they didn't bother putting in fillers. They had a few, heavy hitters in there.
That's kind of typical Nintendo. Like Nintendo Directs, it's just game after game,
Yeah.
just trailers after trailer, no time wasted. And then of course
Mhm.
they started with a banger. They announced a new Smash DLC character,
Kazuya.
Mishima Kazuya, which I'm very excited for multiple
Honestly,
reasons.
I was confused when I was watching it because it's like,
Oh my god, I
this
got
is
hyped.
Tekken. This is Tekken.
Like
But
when I saw Ganondorf being carried to the cliffside
the
and
cliff.
of like lava volcano, I got hyped up because I know at that moment I know that's Kazuya. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is Kazuya. So obviously I like fighting games, so I'm excited to see Kazuya in Smash. And another reason I'm hyped, it's because I know there will be a huge meltdown in the Smash community because they hate fighting game characters. And of course, today I'm already seeing that on Twitter. A lot of people just butthurt. A lot of the top players in the Smash community, they're kind of making questionable comments and stuff. So I'm enjoying that shit show.
wow.
The cool thing about it was that they they even put in like combos for Kazuya, which
Yeah,
I
I
don't
wonder
even
how
think
that's
you
gonna
can
work.
do in Smash. Like I swear in Smash you just have like your 1-2 hits and things like that.
No, there are combos in Smash. Although they are much more free flow and you have much more creative freedom to make your own
Mm-hmm.
combos. So that's why, like in my case, I'm wondering how they're gonna implement Kazuya because his combos are very like predetermined. I guess that's a word to
Mm-hmm.
describe it. Like that's his combo, and then
Right.
that's it,
Command
right?
list.
There's no varieties to it, right?
Yeah.
Or less varieties. I shouldn't
Well,
say no
moving
varieties.
on to the next game that they announced, which I'm hyped for. I've never played any of the games in this series, but a brand new 2D Metroid game, Metroid Dread.
Yeah.
And apparently they haven't come out with a 2D Metroid game in like over 19 years, according to one of the people talking in that Nintendo Direct. I was like, no way, it's been 19 years?
Yeah,
What
they
year
did
was that? 19 years ago.
19 years ago. But I don't know.
2002?
Oh yeah,
Holy moly.
they actually
It was
released a 2D.
2002.
Was there a 2D Metroid in 2002?
Probably on like the Game Boy or something.
Maybe that's why. Yeah,
Or
that sounds more likely.
GameCube?
No, GameCube. I think
Um,
they made like Metroid Prime or other M or
the first
I
person.
yeah, it's all
Yeah,
3D,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
3D ones.
Uh, But yeah, going back to the classics, right? Metroid 2D, with updated graphics. So I've never played a Metroid game, but it looked really good.
It looks good. Funny
And
enough, the
you
night
know,
before that, I was streaming and I did talk about it. I was like, hey, it would be cool if they brought back Metroid, but as a 2D game. I mentioned that, and then it happened.
You got it. Yeah, it'd be cool to see, you know, what all the hype is about for Metroid games, because, you know, they had a whole genre based off of it, Metroidvania.
Yeah, well, Metroid and Castlevania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't got much to say about it. Can't say I'm a huge fan of Metroid. So
one of the next games that they announced, I know you were hyped for sure. Shin Megami Tensei 5.
SMT5. Oh, they announced this like a few years ago. Although since then we haven't heard anything about it. That's why I wasn't expecting anything. But to my surprise, they showed a trailer, so I'm very excited about it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm just hyped.
For me, the only game that I've played similar to Shin Megami is Persona 5 Royal. Yeah. That's the only game in that series that I've played. So obviously I'm interested in this game because this is what brought Persona into existence.
Pretty much.
Megami Tensei 5.
Yeah. For those who don't know, yeah, Persona, it's a spin-off of SMT or Shin Megami Tensei. So Persona is supposed to be a spin-off, and SMTs are supposed to be the mainline game. But ever since Persona 3, the roles kind of flipped.
Persona 5 Royal was one of the best games ever.
Just like, if you do play SMT, you'll be a little surprised because I guess the basic battle mechanic, it's still kind of similar, but the structure of the game and the theme of the game, so it's very different.
Well, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I like the gameplay of Persona, but Shin Megami Tensei 5 seems more like gritty, more realistic, I guess. Less anime-ish, more.
Yeah, it's
3D.
It's more grounded. The whole theme, the whole feeling of the game is a bit more grounded, or at least not as like grittier, not as lighthearted, I guess. Because Persona, it's a lot of lighthearted comedic moments to it, whereas SMT it's just serious business, basically the whole game throughout.
I'm down for that. Honestly. So I might have to get myself a Switch very soon,
man. Which actually some people were really hoping for.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess we have the same thing on mind. I guess you were hoping they'll announce the Switch Pro. Yeah. The Switch Pro. I wanted to see it.
I didn't expect it. I wanted to see it too.
But yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
Unfortunately, no news on that. It's the Nintendo Direct, so
I feel like if anything, if they're gonna release it this year, they'll announce it closer to the holiday season. They'll probably announce it in September, October.
Yeah.
And then people will, then that's when people get hyped up. And then when it releases in November or December, then people will go out and drove to.
What's crazy is that the Switch is still selling really well. It's crazy. But for now, for me personally, I'm gonna hold out until the Pro comes out or any news of the Pro comes out. I can't imagine it being further into the like a few years, maybe like in 1 or 2 years, I'll see the Pro come out.
Well, latest next year, I would think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will hold out for the Pro. And the last thing that was shown on Nintendo that I think is the most noteworthy, of course, Breath of the Wild 2.
Yep, just an update to it.
Yeah, although we did know that it was coming, but just more gameplay of it.
Yeah,
it looked good. It looks good. I never played the first one, but again, I don't own a Switch. But this is like I want to play the game that beat out
Horizon
Zero Dawn
for Game of the Year. That's something I don't agree with. Having played both games, I don't agree with that. Although like Horizon wasn't even my Game of the Year.
I gotta play it for myself. Because I know, although we do have similar taste, Ricky, we have differing opinions on a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah,
And that's
that's
why
a
we're
game you
here.
have to
The
try
Ludens Query.
yourself. Yeah, you have to try yourself to kind of make your own opinion, because that game I feel like is very divisive. Some people like love it to death, and some people just straight up dislike it. There's no in between. I feel like there's no that group of people were like, yeah, it was cool. I finished it. It was alright. It's either they love it or they hate it. It's one of those games.
Interesting. I think, obviously, I don't know, but I feel like I would be in the camp that would like it. So I'm pretty open minded with games.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to try it. I'm willing to try for sure.
Yeah. And actually, before Breath of the Wild 2, they announced quite a few more, a few other things too. WarioWare, they announced another one. That's something I'm
Yes.
interested in playing. That I
Really?
always want to play those kind of wacky type of party games. Because all the mini games in WarioWare are really silly looking, so I kind of like that type of comedy. And then I'm not sure if it's a remaster or new or whatever, but they also announced Mario Party and Mario Golf. So I'm not sure if those are new or not.
Oh
So that's
yeah,
a thing as
golf.
well.
Yeah.
Golf and Mario Party. I'm not
One
sure if
thing.
that's
One thing for you listeners out there listening to us talk about all this stuff, we are not. We're like me. I'm talking. Okay, for me personally, I'm not a Nintendo guy. I'm not a Xbox guy. So this E3, you know, I'm trying my hardest. I'm trying my hardest to be open minded with all these games, and it might not have been the most hype because I'm not a Nintendo or Xbox fan. So, that's just me. I know for you, Ricky, you have a Switch, so
Yeah, I like
you
Nintendo. So
yeah.
the Nintendo conference was quite exciting for me. Showed off a few things I genuinely plan on getting. So
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
Um,
What about you, Timo? You've been pretty silent for a while.
I had no interest in the E3 at all. So,
Why is that?
For me, like,
Sony's not there, man. Sony's not there. Why else?
yeah, yes. I mean, Sony wasn't there. For me, like I was telling you guys, like the greatest experience for E3 for me was just being there. But one of the things I think E3 is having a problem with, and they've had it for the last couple of years, is that E3 wasn't originally designed for gamers, and that's where they're running into an issue. E3 was an investor event, so basically you showcase your game to potential investors, and then those guys would invest into your game, right?
Yeah.
So over the years, it has evolved. When I went in 2019 was the first year they actually invited gamers to the event. Before that, it was just investors and news reporters were invited to E3. So I think what is happening now is, and we saw that with, like you guys were talking about that breakout session that they had with diversity and stuff. It's like it is not designed for gamers, and this is where I feel like we see Sony play, even Nintendo when they show their Nintendo Directs separate from E3, is that it's designed for gamers. It is designed for, like, this is an update for you gamers, blah blah blah, and it's with that effect with it. So I think that's the problem where E3 is having this identity crisis, where it originally was supposed to be for investors, but it has grown to this point where it's more for gamers, and or like gamers are coming to watch new stuff from it. And this is why you're seeing so many indie games in this 2021 edition of the E3, is because these independent guys are trying to get money for investors for investing into their game. So it is not necessarily designed for gamers to say, hey, we're releasing the next game, it's releasing at this time, blah blah blah, right? So I think this is where E3, if they don't fix that identity crisis, is going to become less and less relevant. And this is why, and with Sony made a big move a couple of years ago where they decided not to be at E3, and now it is like it's showing more and more like less relevant, and I think the only strong person at E3 is Xbox, really. to really say that they have any significance to it. I think if Xbox were to leave, it would have really low significance at all, right? So the fact that Nintendo and Xbox is still there is why it's still kind of relevant. But if they don't change it to really cater to gamers, and I think even so, like what is boggling my mind is you're not paying for a facility, you're not paying for you know security running the event, all these type of things. You could have put on a really engaging online experience, right? And like you guys laugh at me about this, but my entrepreneurial side is where these companies just haven't figured out how to do online events yet, and therefore it's lacking. The average big Twitch streamer is going to create more entertainment, more things out of online experience than these big companies because they just don't know how to do it yet, right? And they're little out of touch with that. And I think that's where they probably missed the ball with this event.
I don't know if I can 100% agree with your statement about E3, shifting to catering to gamers like as recent as 2019. I felt like they've been doing that even back in the PS3 era. Like in a sense, like the E3 event, like in-person event, yes, that might be for investors and media, but how they do the conference, that is very much catered to gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is like they are trying to appeal to and show off things to the gamers, and that's why they
Yeah.
even bother making a trailer that's hype and then having a release date and everything. Otherwise, if it's really, as you said, purely for investor, they would just say, just have like this show, like a very business like showcase of the game, and that's it. They
No, but that's
wouldn't.
what I'm saying. I think it has evolved to cater to gamers, but I think because of that dual identity, it hasn't fully gotten all the
No,
way through it, right?
my point is that shift has happened way earlier than you suggested.
Mm.
I felt like that shift that this identity crisis already happened back in like 2010, 2011,
Mm-hmm.
as early as that.
So
They
then, in
at that
that case,
point,
they should do better at this point.
yeah.
Well,
And the thing is, I was saying E3 feels like it's not nearly as big because personally, like in my own opinion, I feel like a lot like Sony and a lot of other publishers, they have grown to the point that their reputation is bigger than E3 already. They no longer need E3
Yeah.
because a lot of the devs they go to E3 because it's when they hear E3 back then, like 5 years ago or even 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
people think, okay, it's the biggest gaming event.
Yeah.
That's where the biggest stuff will get shown there. E3 has the name E3 holds a lot more weight to it.
Yeah.
Versus now, E3 they still hold a lot of weight to it, but when you think of Sony, when you think of Rockstar, Blizzard, they all have their own events. So those guys, their name holds much more
Yeah.
value on their own versus
Yeah.
E3.
Yeah.
So it's much more beneficial for them to hold their own events, and they
Yeah.
have less restrictions.
Yeah.
Because if you think back to Sony's last like one or two conference, the way they start, the way they construct their conference, there's no way they can do that at E3. I don't see them, being allowed to do that. Having
Mm-hmm.
a huge orchestra and having certain skits and certain setup, the time restraint, all those stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Their needs have outgrown the boundary of E3.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that is the bigger problem E3
Yeah.
has,
I totally agree. Totally agree.
yeah, for sure.
and that's why we kind of saw it this year, right? Indie games have kind of taken over E3 because they have more to gain by being
Sure.
at E3
Sure.
versus the big publishers.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the direction that the future of these kind of conferences, these spectacles are going, is in Jeff Keighley's hands because of the Summer Game Fest is basically his baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's he's heading this with his thing with the Game Awards. So he has all these connections and everything. The Summer Game Fest, it has started. So E3 is actually a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the overall scope and mindset that summer is the summer of E or the game news happens at E3. Now it's
Yeah,
become bigger than that.
Yeah.
And that's what Jeff Keighley is trying to do, I guess, with the Summer Game Fest. I think he did something similar to that last year. Um, instead of E3.
Because I
And
think there was no E3 last year. I think.
yeah, yeah. So since there was no E3, he gathered up a bunch of people he's partnered with, a bunch of media outlets he's partnered with, and knows and has connection with different publishers and things like that, to try and showcase, at least instead of E3. I know everybody expects there to be some type of gaming news around the summertime. So Summer Game Fest is what they're going to do now. And now it's spread across the entirety of the summer.
Yeah.
So it's not just E3, just this 1 week that's jam packed with gaming news. Now you have the whole summer to look forward to things. And I think people's mindsets, they haven't fully adjusted to that yet. Everyone expects all the biggest stuff to happen at E3.
Yeah.
And it's
the
kind of hard in
future-
this day
the
and
future,
age.
when you look at it, E3's not there.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest appeal of E3, it's like for years, everyone going to E3, they're expecting megatons. They always say, "Oh, we want megatons." So
That's what I'm
what do we
expecting.
like? What we mean by megatons is not Elden Ring is not a megaton, because we all know this game exists. We're all expecting a trailer. So megaton is something we don't expect, something completely new to us. That's what we're expecting. But in this day and age, that is hard to come by because everything gets leaked.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, the publishers, they want to announce new things under their own terms.
Yeah.
So that's why the whole concept of megaton at E3, it's gone. It's done.
Yeah.
Like the closest thing we got was Metroid Dread at Nintendo.
Yeah.
That was the closest thing to a megaton we got.
Well, the thing is also is that publishers, they don't want to create new games. They just want to add on to the games that they have already.
Yeah.
And just put out the next season pass and the
Next DLC and stuff.
DLC. Right? That's not. There's no newsworthy thing with that. And like you said, they'll just announce those things on their own terms through their own events, and they don't need E3 for that, because why do it with someone else's company, someone else's organization, where you have to pay to do that? Just do it yourself.
It's like essentially they're sharing the spotlight with other people. So in a sense, that's kind of dumb, right?
Yeah.
So you want a spotlight,
I guess
like
Sony,
solely on
saw
you.
that E3 was a sinking ship, and they
abandoned ship.
Abandoned a while ago.
Yep.
Good on them.
Yep. They saw like one tiny little hole, one tiny little leak there. Like Sony's like, all right,
honestly,
see you guys later.
I miss Sony having a conference like that. Now they have the state of plays, which are good. It was super hype in what was it, 2020, when they had that PS5 showcase. That was super hype.
Yeah.
And but I on my stream after E3 ended, I was rewatching a bunch of the conferences from previous years. Right, I watched the 2016 E3 conference for Sony, and the spectacle, the very beginning, where they had the whole orchestra playing that Nordic music.
They still kind of did that, like before COVID. I think the reason we got like these kind of short online only setup plays because of COVID. Before that, they every year they still had a conference where people actually attend, and they had a spectacle. I remember that's
still
how
an E3.
No, I'm pretty sure that was their own thing, because
really,
I remember. I think
one?
that's how they announced Tsushima at their own event.
They had their own event.
That was their own event. I thought
that was their own
E3.
event. That was their own event, and that's when they got that guy up on the stage and playing the flute and everything.
I swear that was E3.
I'm pretty sure that was like after they left E3.
Before COVID, like just before COVID, they started building their own conference, in-person conference.
Yeah, so they still have their own event.
Okay. And they also showed Last of Us, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did
the same way. I remember watching that.
Yeah. Actually, because they one of those events, they made the stage look like that one barn in Last of Us.
Yeah, like the church.
Yeah, the church and stuff. Yeah, so that was then their own event. There's no way E3 will let them do that.
No, I think that was that was the first year where they decided that they weren't going to E3.
I remember watching that. I think I was in the party chat with you, Ricky. I think I was in the party chat.
Maybe.
I was in the party chat with someone, and we were watching together. I think it was with you. I would definitely with my friend Justin. because I remember this is such a random memory. We were watching the Last of Us gameplay trailer and the Last of Us Part Two, and they were in some convenience store, like a rundown convenience store. And then Justin's all hyped up. He's like, "No way! Oh, is she gonna squeeze through in between those
Oh
those
yeah,
shelves? Is he gonna squeeze?
I
Squeeze?
remember that.
No way! Squeeze through the
Yeah,
shelf."
when she passed through that little gap, and oh man, that was mind blowing. That was mind blowing. It's like this is not
Oh,
real. This is not
see,
real.
now that's the type of stuff that I want to see at these conferences.
Showing us like like innovative gameplay, right? Gameplay,
Just
gameplay. We want to
fluid
see gameplay. Xbox,
innovation.
please. Bethesda, please show us some gameplay.
I know, like we're just getting the generic, the same things we've seen over and over again: hack and slash, RPG elements, shoot this, shoot that, and nothing innovative.
Yeah.
That's the issue. But yeah.
So back to E3. I think is that air? No, we
No,
we
no,
still
no.
get, no no
We
no.
still got
We
a
still
little
have
bit. Still
we
got a
still got
little
a bit.
bit.
We still got a bit. We still got a bit.
Still got a little bit of controversy to talk about here.
Oh boy.
Next up after Nintendo,
What
Bandai
happened?
Namco.
What
Bandai
happened?
Namco. My goodness. Not as bad as Take Two, because at
Yep,
least they
still
showed a game.
they showed a game.
One game.
A game.
Bandai Namco, the publisher of Elden Ring
For
and the
Elden
Dark
Ring.
Souls series.
Well, they have so many games potentially coming out. Elden Ring,
Anime games.
Tales to Arise. There's a rumor. What's it called? My Hero Academia game. There's so many games under their belt. They could have the Dragon Ball game, Dragon Ball Kakarot. There's so many things they can talk about.
Yep.
But nope.
They talked about House of Ashes.
For 15 minutes.
To be fair,
You'll
interesting
say?
looking game.
Yeah.
They are the creators of Until Dawn, and I like that game. I played through that when it was free on the PlayStation Plus monthly free game, and it was a good game. So, I actually am interested in what they have to show or have in store for their House of Ashes game, because I like that kind of your decision making impacts the future, the future of the game or your path in the game.
Yeah. Affects the consequences, but
reminiscent of Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, things like that. So I like that. And
but it's a conference. It's a conference. Can you even call it a conference? No.
But that's it. That's it. That's the only thing they showed. Bandai Namco.
There's no one there. People are just getting ready. They strapped in, getting ready for a conference, and we just see E3 exclusives, and then that whole trailer and interview happened, pre-recorded, obviously. After that, that's it. It lasted 15, 20 minutes max.
10 minutes, something like that.
No, maybe 15 minutes. 15 minutes,
Yeah,
and
15
then
minutes.
that was it.
And I was like,
and then,
is that it?
And everyone in the chat, they were just confused. Like, where's Bandai Namco? When is the conference starting? Where's Bandai Namco?
Wow.
Little did we know, it already ended.
Wow.
No.
One game. Like there's not even anyone there hosting or presenting it. They just legit showed one pre-recorded video, and that was it.
Yep. I don't know, man. Like, what are these companies thinking? Like, what is E3?
E3.
I honestly can't wait until next year to see how E3 is going to be, because it's going to be in person for sure.
Yeah. I hope so.
I don't know, man. Like, how are they gonna pick up the pieces that were dropped all over the place
because they dropped everything this year. Whatever they had, they dropped everything. So hopefully, okay. I'm sure they're just getting blasted in the past 4 or 5 days, just constantly blasted. So hopefully, E3 can take that to heart and fix things up a bit.
Check yourself, E3. Check yourself.
I'm still not expecting much from E3 because Sony is not there. Nintendo is not fully committed to it. But even then,
EA, isn't usually EA games?
Yeah, EA and Activision, They're both usually
Yeah.
there. They usually
No,
have
but
their own conference.
they do their own stuff though nowadays. Like EA does their own like
I feel like
showcases.
the last E3, like 2 years ago, like one of them, at least, or if not both, are still there. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they're both still there. Because
But yeah.
I know they have their own conference announcing Call of Duty and Battlefield and whatever other trash they have. So
Yep,
it's
yep.
kind of weird. Like
And
a few devs
Activision,
are.
like, it was interesting because Sekiro was under Activision. So
Oh yeah.
sometimes you don't even know what you would get from these different publishers, right?
Yeah.
And if Activision was there, what games would they have under their belt? Obviously, you have your Call of Duties and their cash grab games, but surprisingly, Sekiro was under Activision, and then EA Games, with the amount of flack that they get, they have been pretty
Yeah.
good. They have been pretty good with Fallen Order and Apex Legends, obviously.
Wasn't It Takes Two? Isn't that
It Takes Two was EA.
that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
EA,
yeah.
right? That was a surprising game.
So like with all the bad press these companies have, you don't know, but we'll never know because they weren't at E3. Well, hopefully, the summer just started, and Summer Game Fest is still ongoing. Hopefully, we'll see some more news.
Some more
Sony
news, yeah.
should definitely come up with something within the summertime.
So that's June 22nd.
Is that confirmed?
It is. Yeah.
For what, Sony State of Play?
Yeah, it's called Play Live. I think it is.
Oh. Okay.
I'll have to fact check you on that. I don't believe it.
That is pretty soon. Then that is pretty soon. It's like a week away.
But anyway, last thing we're gonna talk about.
Sorry. It's not Sony. EA Play Live. Sorry.
Oh,
I
EA.
knew it. I knew it.
Who cares about EA?
I like EA's showcases.
If Timo told me when the PlayStation conference was happening, something is wrong.
That is true.
EA.
That is true. All right. Okay. Well, we have one last thing, right?
Last thing that happened at E3 was the award show.
Oh, the awards.
The award show.
I don't even remember what awards went to which. Whatever. It means nothing.
So, according to this schedule, the award show was set to air at 4:45 p.m.
Yes.
Pacific.
Yeah, yeah.
So I tuned in at 4:45, and what am I greeted with? Another talk about representation,
and not a Zoom call about.
Yeah. I think Timo could chime in on something like this. But did you watch the award show, Timo?
No.
Well, basically, this is how it went down. 4:45. This is when they said it on their official site that the award show was going to start.
Yeah.
What do we see? We see a panel, another Zoom call of now these are black gamers. These are black people from different organizations talking about representation for the black community in gaming for 15 minutes. Okay. And yeah, they're just talking about representation, how they can't, in character creations, they can't find the right skin tones and things like that, and that the gaming industry needs to do a better job.
Mm-hmm.
But this is reminiscent of what what happened at Take-Two.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, important subject.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not downplaying the importance of what they're talking about, but at 4:45, when you say that the award show is happening, I expect an award show. Yeah. They did a bait and switch.
Yeah. That's not good though.
It's good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think they should have it's online, so I don't understand why you can't just do a day or you do a segment of just, there's different breakout panels. I don't understand why that's not possible.
Like dedicated to that. Dedicate a legit panel and time frame for it.
I guarantee you would get people to watch it if that is what it is. People watch all kind of stuff on Twitch. It's if you say this is okay, we're on the Monday, this is where we're going to show panels between 12 to 4. Sure. Right. And then I don't understand they're just scheduling the thing. Like I don't know who's in charge of scheduling. I don't get that.
My biggest thing is that they said 4:45. The award show was gonna start.
Award show, yeah.
The award starts anything at 4:45 anyways. Out of 44, it should be always on the dime.
Pacific. This is Pacific. So Eastern time, that was 7:45. So the award show actually started at 5 p.m. Pacific. So we were just stuck waiting until the award show happened because
we don't know when it's going to end too, right? That whole panel. So we're just kind of stuck sitting there waiting.
And obviously it brought awareness. We're talking about it right now, but like, do you want that kind of press on it? You want that negative publicity? Because of course, I'm not downplaying the importance of that subject, but still, like, I don't want to.
It's like imagine us. We're here. The name of this episode podcast is like us Luden Square talking about E3
clickbait,
and then right at the beginning or somewhere in the middle we start talking about like the environmental crisis. Like the people will be like, what the hell are these guys talking about? They go on some weird tangent. Not even a tangent. Like if we started off like talking about like on a completely different topic, then people
it's gonna bad example because we can talk. This is our show. We'll talk about whatever we want. But this is E3. There's a context here.
But the thing is, like, well, if our episode title says E3 discussion, then people expect us to talk about E3. But if our episode starts with us talking about the environment and ozone zone, ozone layer, whatever, then
you
people
thought
be
this
like,
was the entertainment? No, this is the environmental, e-commerce executives.
Then people are gonna get pissed.
Yeah. So yeah,
again. So why wouldn't they even do it like, oh, this is the pre-show or something like that and advertise? Like I don't.
No, they just went straight there.
That's just weird. Like I don't understand that. Like they pay people to do this stuff. I don't understand. Like there's event coordinators that literally get paid to do these things. I don't.
So I have I was curious about it actually. So maybe they did do a good job because I'm talking about it now. So Timo, you being a black gaming enthusiast, do you feel you were represented in these games enough?
No, but and I've actually talked about this topic before outside of Luden Square. But no, I think there's a lot more that needs to be done. I don't, not just in black characters. I think in general with characters.
Yeah, we're the Filipino people.
I like for instance, we talked about some of the games that came out was announced today, right? It was during E3, and like even you guys were talking about Final Fantasy just now, right? And you go like, oh, you have this buff, this white dude that's there. Like, how come he's the protagonist? Like we have enough games that have the protagonist with that, And I don't know, like, and to some people's point, like, character creations and stuff like that, we're starting to see them, where you can actually adapt the characters. Because I try to, anytime I play like an RPG game or something like that, I try to develop it to see what characters are. Like they try to do an update with Mass Effect and would like try to give the person like braids or dreadlocks or whatever. And unfortunately, like sometimes the graphics are not there. They don't do enough time and energy to do it. Right. Mm-hmm. It is possible. I mean, like to do it with Horizon Zero Dawn, like, and Horizon Forbidden West, you see like they're putting effort into the hairstyles. Right. And that's, I understand from a graphical standpoint, that's tough to do anyways. So I'm not really nitpicking on that kind of stuff, but I would like, and this is, the only game that I could think of right now is Miles Morales, where, that's a black protagonist, but, like, how many games can you name that has a black protagonist that's actually not a character creation that's actually named that, right? Or like,
or how many like non-white protagonists?
Yeah, Hispanic characters, or like like how many of those are like lead characters in a game? Like we have
Filipino characters. Where are they?
Yeah,
bro, if there was a game with a Filipino protagonist, Philippines would erupt, bro. Like it would be like
Nurse Simulator.
Oh. Oh no!
Personal service worker.
Oh no!
PSW.
PS.
Uh, uh,
Oh boy!
singles. No, I got. I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, there's a few other ones I want to say, but like relating to other
Oh
race pod, I feel like
god.
it's not appropriate. So let's just keep it in there for now.
I mean,
For those of you listening and can't see my face, I'm Filipino. Just,
like the
don't
Asian community
don't
has
cancel me.
yeah, the Asian community has a good base because they're Asian companies making these games, right?
Well,
But yeah,
for Japanese, although there are more
Japanese, yeah,
Chinese there are more Chinese games these days, but
not as popular.
not they tend to be kind of hated on because of China, which I don't blame them, even though I'm Chinese.
Oh man. But I mean, like, yeah. So I think there needs to be a lot done in there, and hopefully we'll see that in the next coming years.
Yeah,
But
like thinking back to this E3, can you think of any non-white protagonists in any of the games showcased in E3?
Non-white.
Non-white protagonists.
Uh,
I don't.
Trek to Yomi.
All right, okay. How about non-indie games? Non-indie games.
non-indie games,
Non-indie games.
no.
Shadow Warrior. Is that an indie game?
I
Shadow
think
Warrior
that's
3.
kind of an indie game.
Well, I don't know.
Starfield, we don't know. Most likely. So well, here we are. We're going on a tangent. We're going off topic. Eh? People are gonna complain. You guys just you guys just trash talk to the awards and Take-Two, and here you guys are talking about stuff not related to E3. I want my money back.
It's about E3 because they talked about it. This is how crazy E3 was. This is relevant. So anyway, 15 minutes in, now the award show starts. I forget what all the awards were. The one that stood out to me though was the most anticipated game overall.
Yeah. Overall. For the whole E3. For whole E3.
E3. Everything. 4 days worth of games, hundreds of titles revealed and announced and showcased. And some bangers. But the most anticipated game overall. Can you guess what that is, Timo?
Halo
you didn't
Infinite?
watch it. Huh?
Halo Infinite?
Nope.
What? What else would there be?
Two more guesses. You won't get it.
I don't know. What do we do? I'm trying to think of all the other games that we went through. Battlefield, maybe?
Nope.
One more guess, and then I'll tell you.
Let me see.
This. I was just confused.
I did not expect that at all.
It's actually perfect. It summed up E3 perfectly.
It summed up E3 quite. It's a perfect representation of E3 of what's going on in E3.
This was the most anticipated game overall. E3,
it goes to show the quality. It goes to show
for E3.
Yeah.
I mean, Life is Strange, maybe. Life is Strange.
That's your final guess. No. The most anticipated game overall was Forza Horizon.
What? How is that even possible?
It happened.
Forza.
Oh, for Starfield, over Battlefield, over Halo Infinite, over Breath of the Wild, over Metroid.
Card games are barely considered video games for gamers.
The most
you might as well just say FIFA.
Game.
The most anticipated Xbox game was Halo Infinite, obviously.
Yeah.
But most anticipated game overall, Forza.
So that means all the non-Xbox fans voted for Forza. Because Xbox fans, they obviously voted for Halo Infinite. So it's people outside of that bubble. Maybe, I guess it's just all those people, they have no interest in games. Because I think it's voted by medias and stuff. So they probably just look at the prettiest looking game, which is Forza, I guess. These racing games.
Forza looks good, but still, like
it's like the typical like parent. They just look at that game, like, that game looks good. It's got to be the best game, right?
Man, that just confuses me. Like, they even had Starfield here, and I feel like that's the one that people would be like, "Oh, I can't wait for that one."
But the
Because
thing
they
is, there's no
barely showed
gameplay.
anything.
They only showed a kind of very cookie cutter CG trailer or pre-rendered trailer or cutscene.
But that's the thing, because they no one really saw much of it. Like, oh, I want to see more. I want to see more. You know.
But the thing, my problem of
It's a teaser for a
Starfield,
reason.
my problem of Starfield is that the trailer itself doesn't look interesting. Because I made my own award list, and under my most disappointing trailer is Starfield. Because at first glance we know
How many
it's going to
games
be
you got on that list?
on my award list.
Yeah.
How many awards do I have?
How many games?
What do you mean? How many games?
On
Oh,
your award
that's
list?
no. Like
I guess
I
this
just
is synonymous.
yeah. Well, there's just when I think of the most disappointing trailer, it's just everything out of all the games. Which trailer am I most disappointed by?
No, but how many games do you have on that list in total?
That I'm taking into consideration.
Yeah, your own list.
It's quite a lot. Well, at least everything I remembered, so that's like over like 30 or 40 of them.
Holy moly! Okay, I gotta work on my list.
So your short list.
But yeah, that's fair, because
Yeah,
we didn't see much of Starfield.
like the thing is, like Starfield, they showed space shuttle, so we know it's going to be about space, and then we see like this person, an astronaut, talking a bunch of nonsense, just regular dialogue, not even anything interesting or intriguing.
Mhm.
Just sounds like a regular dialogue, and then we see this person getting in the shuttle, and they show us a date, and then the rocket took off. So everything
it
is very
looks like just a space simulator. That's all
yeah.
it looks
It looks very like cookie cutter, very generic,
like.
nothing intriguing at all. First is like when you look back to like it's not fair to compare to Kojima, but when you look at the first review for Death Stranding, that trailer made no sense, but it's intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had no idea what the game is about, but at the same time, it got
Yeah,
people thinking, it got
you
people
want
talking.
to know what it's about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where
What's going
Starfield
on.
is just like, okay, it's gonna be a open world in space by Bethesda,
Mhm.
and that's it. Like the only thing people can talk about is, well, how good is the graphics. Because they said everything is rendered in game with an in-game engine, so how much of that can they retain? And
Mhm.
then gameplay wise, it's Bethesda, so what are we expecting? Nothing. And that's why, like, the only thing we want to know is the type of story, the structure of the game, and they told us nothing about it. Well, we know it's a game about space.
Mhm.
No, there's
Yeah.
no mystery there. Oh, at least
Crazy.
the mystery is not intriguing enough.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree with that. But still, there's a hype to that. I guess that's probably not the best contender. But Halo Infinite, there's no reason why you couldn't win two. That makes the most sense,
Like,
right? That makes
I was expecting
some
Halo.
sense in that.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
like I
the
was
rest of them
expecting
are
Halo
indie games.
or even Battlefield, man.
Yeah, Battlefield,
Or
like Diablo 2.
yeah, or Breath of the Wild 2. Like I felt like those games.
Breath of the Wild
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Like Breath of the Wild has a huge community, bro. Like I'm surprised that didn't even get that. That's crazy. Forza, bro.
Forza, man.
Forza.
And yeah,
that's
like I said before, that basically sums up the
E3.
entirety of E3.
Just underwhelming.
Forza is the best. Forza is the best game that they showed, apparently.
Apparently, yeah. So that
the
it goes to show the level of quality of E3. If Forza is the best
Wow.
game they showed.
Yep.
That makes no sense, bro.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
I live streamed that, and just my reaction was definitely the perfect reaction to all. Like, if you put E3 in a picture, and I look at it, that's the reaction that you would get. I'm like, what is this?
What?
Huh? This is E3? This is it.
I don't know of any gamer that plays Forza or even Gran Turismo.
Oh, there's some out there. There's some dedicated fans to those games, but most anticipated,
Maybe the racing game community is bigger than we think.
Maybe.
lots
You
of
know,
lots
it's
of
not
lots
our
of
world.
car
That's
lots
not
of car
me. Like, I
enthusiasts,
don't play
man.
racing games. Ricky don't play racing games. Timo don't play racing games. We don't know. We're not part of that community. Maybe it's a big community. So
Maybe it
you
is.
know what? So racing game fans, congratulations. You know,
You got this one.
you got a great game from E3 that was announced. But to me personally, trash.
And I
And
think that about sums up E3 and our
that is
podcast, eh?
E3, ladies and gentlemen. That is E3.
Trash.
If it sounded like we were, relatively uninterested for the most part, it's because we were. It's because we were. Um, we just, sitting through E3
For 4 days.
for 2.5.
Yeah.
It made me realize, like, man, content creation is hard because you got to sit through a bunch of trash just so you can make content about it. Holy moly! Honestly, what a waste of time.
It was.
You guys should
Well,
just stream your regular games.
for me, I didn't stream it, so I had fun. Just hang out in their chat room, just talking
Yeah,
shit
it
about all
was
the
fun.
games.
It was fun. I'm glad I streamed it because I was still interested in seeing what everything was in store. So I was gonna watch it anyway. So I'm glad I streamed it so that at least I can hang out and have some fun with the chat and trash talk all the stuff that's going on. So we had a good time.
That's good.
We laughed, we cried at sheer disappointment, and overall we had fun. And that's what it's all about. So yeah, that is E3. Any final thoughts about E3?
Nope.
The future of E3.
Nope.
Past E3. What this means.
E3, whatever. I don't care about E3. It's dead to me.
Dead on arrival. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. DOD.
I legit have nothing else to say about E3. It's trash. It's trash.
It was pretty doo-doo. It was pretty doo-doo. Tell me, you got anything?
No, I mean, like I said, they have to figure out where the direction and vision they want to go with E3. Otherwise, it's not going to exist in a year or two. Like like they got to really, whether you condense it into a 1 day experience, whether you tighten it up or like put some relevancy to it in some ways where you're engaging, like especially if they decide to just keep it online, like but even when I was there in person, like I felt like the Los Angeles Convention Center was too big. Like you could have seen like over the years, like maybe they filled it up at some point, but like the facility was just way too big for what they did. There were so many dead spots where like they just didn't have vendors or they didn't have anything, and that's the thing about it. In person, they have no vendors, so you're there and it's just the gaming booths, right? So you can't even buy merch. There's no like nothing really. Like there's a few vendors or whatever, but there's nothing there to like when I go to Fan Expo or DreamHack. Like DreamHack is amazing, like amazing in person experience. So like if you're ever gonna go to a video game event, I would recommend like DreamHack or something like that, or like I would assume PAX is kind of on that level as well. But E3 wasn't like a good experience where like, oh, I want all my friends, and it's expensive. It was $220 US to go to the event, and it's just you have the vendors booth and there's things like that, and then you play. It's like going to Disney World, because even if you wanted to play test a game, you had to wait like almost 2 hours was lines to play the games. Like Spider-Man, I didn't even get to play Spider-Man while I was there. So and the line was so long or whatever, right? So the boots look good and whatever, but it's like like they need to figure out identity with it, is whether you really want to go all in, cater to gamers, have some fun things, have some cool panels, some things that really could have been there. But I think the event was just way too big, or like way too bloated, for a type of facility like that. They could have literally done it in a smaller facility and create more of a hype because you have more of a crowd experience and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, it wasn't enough, I think. And
The
so
word there
online, I'm not surprised.
that stuck out was bloated. This is what this E3 was. It was bloated.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of
Fluff.
filler things.
Yeah.
A lot of fluff. A lot of just uninteresting parts.
Mm-hmm.
Dead space,
Yeah.
so to speak, I guess. But yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Timo. My final thoughts on it. It's just disorganized. I feel like whatever team was running E3, they just, sent out the invites and then got the names of whoever wanted to do whatever, and then didn't even like curate the content. It's like, oh, Take Two is coming. Okay, sure, we'll put them in at 10:15 Pacific. They, we trust Take Two. They're probably gonna show Grand Theft Auto. Nope. What else? Bandai Namco. One game, like this is definitely not a curated event, and it was very disorganized in that aspect. Yeah, basically no big names other than Nintendo, Xbox, and Square Enix, Ubisoft. Usually, there's a lot more than that at E3. So, I agree with Ricky in that aspect. It's like, whatever. I don't that E3 is dead to me. I don't even care anymore. Because I'm not an Xbox fan. I'm not a Nintendo fan yet because I'm waiting for that Pro announcement. But yeah, just disorganized overall. And in the future of E3, they got to tighten it up. They got to tighten it up and curate it a lot better and find out what they want to do. Because, what we just saw is a mess. Literally a mess. Everything was all over the place. We're going from like talking about social justice and representation to indie games to AAA titles, and it's just all over the place.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what Sony has for us. I need something that's the opposite of what I just experienced. But
no, and to put it in perspective, if you ever see an Apple showcase, like it is mind blowing, bro. I'm not even an Apple guy. I'm not even an Apple guy, but the way that they showcased like a keynote is crazy. Like they'll have this crazy intro, and they're showing their facility from a drone shot, and then the drone goes through a building, and it goes straight into the keynote speech. Like it's and they didn't even have it live last year. Like they didn't have people there, and they were able to pull off this amazing event. So you're telling me you have all these AAA people, you have all this money that comes in, and obviously, and you can't pull off. Like it doesn't make sense. Like you should have a host for it all.
You broke Timo's business brain.
It just doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense.
You broke Timo's brain.
He got mine crushed.
I agree. You got publishers that got millions and billions of dollars, and this is all they
Take Two, man. Take Two. What were they doing?
This is all they can muster up. God damn. But anyway, that's it.
We've beat E3 like beyond death. So it's no longer alive.
Sentence you to die, E3. But all the indie games, good luck. Good. Congratulations on being shown on E3.
Yeah.
But that is the end of episode 6 of the Ludens Query podcast.
We've just one big long rant about how shitty E3 is.
Honestly, we tried to talk about the games, and then I know it got more interesting when we started trash talking. But that's it. Let's go into our plugging section.
Yeah.
So-
Before I get too depressed thinking about E3. All right.
Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch the latest podcasts that we record. We always record them with video so that you have access to it and you can see our facial reactions to what we're saying. And sometimes we forget we're actually recording this for just audio too. So yeah, like and subscribe. I am MojoCritical on Twitch. I stream regularly, so follow me at twitch.tv/MojoCritical. And yeah, I also make a bunch of videos for the Ludens Query channel too. So check out all of that. I'll hand it over to Timo.
Yeah, you can catch me on Twitch at TheHybridGeek and on Instagram at TheHybridGeek as well, where I post daily video game content on there. And I stream on Twitch Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern Time.
And then I guess it's
I will
my
throw it to
turn.
Ricky.
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/BaconBeercan. I stream pretty regularly. I have a schedule there. You can check it out, although I don't follow it 100%. You can also find me on Instagram. Same thing, under BaconBeercan. I post random pictures on there. And yeah, that's it, man.
All right. Thank you, all you Ludens, for watching and listening to us rant about E3. We will see you in the next episode. Play us out, sound guy.
Sound guy, or production guy.
Production manager.
Everybody.
Production
Production
manager.
by.
See you at E3 next year.